Chapter 2777. Junior brother Mo, I suddenly realized that I can't see through you. As he watched Mo Qingyun approach, Dingyu looked at him as though he was looking at a stranger and kept sizing him up. Previously, he had heard people talking about Mo Qingyun's strength, but he didn't take it to heart. However, the battle between Mo Qingyun and Quan Wenzhong had revealed the concept of time, which had truly frightened him. Furthermore, Mo Qingyun had defeated Quan Wenzhong in a domineering manner. This made him even more shocked. He wasn't much stronger than Quan Wenzhong. If Mo Qingyun could defeat Quan Wenzhong, it wouldn't be too difficult for him to defeat Dingyu. I didn't think that I would underestimate him. After estimating Mo Qingyun's strength, Dingyu laughed at himself and felt a little depressed. It seemed that he would soon have to give up his spot in the top 10 of the Heavenly Devil Palace. Senior brother Ding, this isn't strange. I can't see through you either. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly in response to Dingyu's words as he explained casually. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Dingyu couldn't help but be stunned. Then he laughed and said, "That's right. I'm your senior brother after all. If I let you see through me so easily, wouldn't I lose face?" Mo Qingyun smiled and nodded. He didn't refute. After joking with Mo Qingyun for a while, Dingyu's expression became serious. He asked, "Junior brother Mo, with your strength, you are qualified to enter the top 10 of the Heavenly Devil Palace. When are you going to challenge us?" When Dingyu said this, his expression became serious, as if he was under pressure. Meeting an opponent like Mo Qingyun was indeed a headache-inducing matter. If he had a choice, he really didn't want to fight with Mo Qingyun. "No hurry. Wait until I break through to the space realm. My cultivation is a little too low." In response to Dingyu's question, Mo Qingyun thought for a while and immediately made a decision. With his current cultivation, he was only a step away from the universe realm. It was more important for him to break through his cultivation first. As for the top 10 spots in the Heavenly Devil Palace, he could wait for his cultivation to break through and challenge them directly. At that time, he would be able to challenge the number 1 of the Heavenly Devil Palace once and for all. Knowing Mo Qingyun's thoughts, Dingyu's heart sank, and he felt even more pressure. With Mo Qingyun's current strength, it would be very difficult for him to deal with him, let alone Mo Qingyun's breakthrough. "It looks like I'll have to give up my spot in the top 10 of the Heavenly Devil Palace to you before I can even warm it up." Dingyu mocked himself. He felt a little more at ease and no longer bothered about this issue. Mo Qingyun only smiled faintly at Dingyu's words. This was something that couldn't be avoided. After that, Mo Qingyun and Dingyu chatted for a while before they parted ways. Around the Heavenly Devil God altar, only after Mo Qingyun had left for a while did everyone come back to their senses. "I really can't believe that Quan Wenzhong was defeated. After being defeated twice in a row, I'm afraid that Quan Wenzhong's state of mind will be affected. He brought this upon himself. Who asked him to use his status to bully others with his cultivation?" Everyone sighed. Hearing the words of the people next to him, Tang Gong's face turned pale and his body trembled. Mo Qingyun's strength really scared him. It looks like he's not with Zhou Mu. His words shouldn't be false. After seeing Mo Qingyun's strength, Tang Gong no longer doubted that Mo Qingyun was going to attack him, because there was no need at all. Even Mo Qingyun dared to cut off Quan Wenzhong's arm, let alone Tang Gong. If Mo Qingyun wanted to, nothing would happen even if he killed him directly. Since his words are true, I should pay a visit to the Tang family. Having made up his mind, Tang Gong no longer hesitated and immediately flew out of the Supreme Harmony Demon Gate. Not long after Tang Gong left the Supreme Harmony Demon Gate, Mo Qingyun also left and rushed back to the Divine Wood Continent. As soon as Mo Qingyun left the Supreme Harmony Demon Gate, a group of people quietly followed behind him. If Mo Qingyun saw them, he would definitely recognize them. They were Sun Jie's group. "Kid, let's see who can protect you after coming out of the Supreme Harmony Demon Gate." Looking at Mo Qingyun in front of him, Sun Jie's face was cold and emitted a strong killing intent. In order to prevent the Supreme Harmony Demon Gate from noticing, Sun Jie didn't rush to attack and chased for an hour. Under the control of Sun Jie and the others, their flying ship's speed increased sharply and soon caught up with the Black Demon flying ship. This guy is really patient. He actually hinted that he was watching me. Looking at Sun Jie in front of him, Mo Qingyun's face was cold and revealed a meaningful smile. If he encountered Sun Jie and the others in the past, he could only run away like a rat. But it was different now. If they really fought, he might not be defeated. Fine, to avoid future troubles, I will deal with you today. Mo Qingyun made up his mind and no longer ran away. He kept the Black Demon flying ship. Sun Jie and the others were surprised to see Mo Qingyun keep the Black Demon flying ship and not plan to escape. Shortly after, Sun Jie also kept the flying ship and slowly flew towards Mo Qingyun. He sneered, "Kid, I haven't seen you for a while and your courage has grown. You actually stopped running when you saw us. Could it be that you want to fight with us? But it's also true. It's impossible for you to escape in front of us." As Sun Jie spoke, he signaled a few of his subordinates to deal with Mo Qingyun. After receiving Sun Jie's instructions, the three-peak space realm martialists surrounded Mo Qingyun. The few of them are not enough. If you want to send them to their deaths, I will cooperate with you. Looking at the three-peak universe realm experts approaching, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold, and he took the initiative to attack them. Several types of space law power erupted from Mo Qingyun's body and shrouded the three of them. Under the influence of several types of space law forces, the group was immediately separated and their mobility was restricted. Seeing such a situation, their expressions tensed up and a sense of panic appeared in their hearts. After not seeing each other for a while, Mo Qingyun's strength had grown and he was more difficult to deal with than before. "Kid, you're courting death." Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Sun Jie did not dare to watch anymore and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Immediately, he blasted out a palm and a terrifying burst of saint power erupted. The saint power turned into a palm shadow and blasted the space in front of him, shattering a part of it. Soon after, one of the trapped people was rescued by Sun Jie. Mo Qingyun did not care about Sun Jie's actions. He smiled faintly and said, "You can save one person, but I can't expect you to save everyone." Mo Qingyun swung his sword and blasted out a powerful sword light that engulfed one of the people in the blink of an eye. Puff! Puff! Under the bombardment of the sword light, a hideous wound was cut open on the person's body. Immediately, the person's aura began to weaken rapidly. Chapter 2778. Next, after injuring one person with each strike, Mo Qingyun stretched out his left hand and raised his index finger. He was reminding Sun Jie that he had already crippled one person and was about to start the second one. After reminding Sun Jie, Mo Qingyun did not stop and waved the divine sword of 9 oxen. A sharp sword ray blasted out from the divine sword of 9 oxen and slashed towards the other person. "Boy, how dare you!" Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Sun Jie's face darkened and emitted a strong murderous intent. Mo Qingyun did not care about Sun Jie's reprimand and did not stop his actions. The sword light flashed and came close to that person, engulfing him in an instant. Immediately, a scream came out from the person's mouth. Hearing that person scream, Sun Jie's face darkened even more. He roared, "Boy, I will grind your bones to dust and burn your soul for thousands of years so that you will never be reincarnated." Sun Jie roared angrily. His figure flashed and closed in on Mo Qingyun. Facing Sun Jie's attack, Mo Qingyun was not afraid at all. He said with a disdainful expression, "I already told you that letting them deal with me is just sending them to their deaths. Of course, it's the same if you do it yourself. It's just to prevent them from dying." Hearing Mo Qingyun's disdainful words, Sun Jie was so angry that his face twitched. "Shut up!" Sun Jie shouted angrily and slashed out at Mo Qingyun. The blade slashed down, creating a 1,000-meter-long sword ray that changed the color of heaven and earth. "Break!" Looking at the surging sword ray, Mo Qingyun was not afraid at all and immediately slashed at it. Mo Qingyun slashed out and an even more threatening sword ray blasted out from the divine sword of 9 oxen. Very quickly, the sword light clashed with the saber light and blocked its attack. Boom! A loud noise came. Behind the loud noise, a storm of saint power that stirred heaven and earth formed in the starry sky. Seeing the saint energy storm forming, Mo, Qingyun, and the other quickly retreated to avoid being engulfed by the saint energy storm. This kid's strength has actually increased by so much. Sun Jie's expression changed when he saw the might of Mo Qingyun's sword. He was shocked. He clearly remembered that the last time he hunted down Mo Qingyun, there was absolutely no such battle strength. In other words, Mo Qingyun's strength had skyrocketed in the past month. Sun Jie discovered this point, and his expression darkened. He was enraged as he said, "This brat's strength has increased explosively. Could it be that he refined the star nest origin, causing his strength to increase?" The more Sun Jie thought about it, the more he believed that this was the reason. Only by refining the origin of the star nest could Mo Qingyun's strength undergo an earth-shattering change in a short period of time. "You're just SOSO." After blocking Sun Jie's attack, Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain and said, "In order to repay you for hunting me down time and time again, I'll give you a quick death today." As Mo Qingyun spoke, his attack did not decrease, and he slashed out another sword ray at Sun Jie. When Mo Qingyun attacked, waves of mysterious power of law emanated from his body. The power of law spread out and enveloped Sun Jie and the others, affecting their movements. Break! Sensing the power of law enveloping him, Sun Jie's face darkened, and he immediately attacked. Mo Qingyun did not care about Sun Jie's actions at all, and he immediately shook the 9-bull divine sword. Then, the sword ray turned from slashing to sweeping, engulfing several of Sun Jie's subordinates. "Young lord, save me. Young sect master, save me. No, I don't want to die yet." Several people screamed, and Sun Jie's subordinates were crippled. Seeing this scene, Sun Jie immediately became angry, his face ashen, and he gnashed his teeth. He could not accept that in the process of chasing Mo Qingyun, he suffered such a great loss. Under Sun Jie's anger, he slashed forward with his saber, shattering the imprisoned space. Regaining his ability to move, Sun Jie's figure flashed, and he chased after Mo Qingyun. Sun Jie's speed was very fast, and he arrived in front of Mo Qingyun in the blink of an eye, slashing down at him again. "I've dealt with your subordinates. Now it's your turn." As Mo Qingyun spoke, the aura he emitted underwent a great change. At this moment, the feeling he gave off became somewhat ethereal and uncertain. Time like light, the 9-bull divine sword flashed, and a sword ray with an ethereal aura blasted out from above. The sword ray flashed, and in the blink of an eye, it arrived in front of Sun Jie, interrupting his attack. This is the concept of time. Sensing the concept of time, Sun Jie's eyes widened, and his face turned somewhat pale. Even with his quasi-eternal realm cultivation, he had not comprehended the concept of time. Who would have thought that Mo Qingyun had done it? How could he not be shocked? How could he not feel fear? Seeing Sun Jie's frightened expression, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly, and he stabbed at him again. Mo Qingyun's attack this time was even fiercer than before, and it was even harder to catch. The sword ray flashed in the air, and like a meteor, it shot towards Sun Jie. Pucci! Before Sun Jie could react, the sword ray slammed into his chest, leaving behind a hideous wound. However, Sun Jie was very strong. Although he had taken Mo Qingyun's sword, he did not lose the ability to fight again. What a fast sword! Seeing the wound on his chest, Sun Jie's face paled, and he felt a lingering fear. If the sword had attacked his head instead of his chest, he would have been able to do so. Under the attack of this sword, he was most likely going to die. This kid is too strong. I'm afraid I'm no match for him. Although it was very difficult for Sun Jie to accept this result, he had no choice but to accept it. In just over a month's time, The ant in his eyes had already surpassed him in strength. At this moment, Sanjie was hesitating whether to leave or not. He saw a black-haired old man riding a demonic beast that reeked of blood slowly flying over. "Isn't this young sect master Sanjie?" When the black-haired old man saw Sanjie, he immediately recognized him and greeted him. Then, the black-haired old man looked at Mo Qingyun and quickly guessed the situation. If he was not mistaken, Sanjie should be intercepting Mo Qingyun, but something seemed to have happened. "Daoist Mingmi, help me kill this kid, and I'll owe you a favor." After saying this to the black-haired old man, Sanjie's figure flashed, and he attacked Mo Qingyun again. Hearing Sanjie's words, the black-haired old man was stunned, and hesitation appeared on his face. Sanjie's status was extraordinary, and a favor from him was worth a lot. Chapter 2779. The black-haired old man's figure flashed and followed closely behind Sanjie, closing in on Mo Qingyun. Seeing the black-haired old man join in, Mo Qingyun frowned and felt a sense of fear. The black-haired old man's strength had already reached the eternal realm. Facing such an expert, Mo Qingyun was not confident in fighting him. Even dealing with him was difficult. Great flashing ghost slash. Arriving in front of Mo Qingyun, Sanjie did not say anything and immediately slashed his saber at Mo Qingyun. Under Sanjie's slash, the long saber emitted a dazzling black light and blasted out like a ghost. The saber light was extremely fast and soon arrived above Mo Qingyun, crushing down on Mo Qingyun. Seeing the saber light slashing towards him, Mo Qingyun quickly retreated. Eternal Age. When Mo Qingyun retreated, he also slashed with his sword, emitting a mysterious intent realm. Under the shroud of this intent realm, the saber light's attack immediately slowed down, as if it had stopped in mid-air. What a mysterious intent realm. It actually touched the time prohibition law. Sensing the time intent realm, Daoist He Mi's expression changed drastically as he looked at Mo Qingyun. This kid's cultivation is merely at the half-step universe realm, but he actually comprehended such a mysterious intent realm. He's really a rare monster. Since I've decided to help Sanjie with this kid's talent, I can't let him stay. At this moment, Daoist He Mi's mind was filled with thoughts as he made a decision. "Little brother, please stay your hand. Let's talk things over." Daoist He Mi's figure flashed and approached Mo Qingyun at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, he blasted a palm at Mo Qingyun. Daoist He Mi blasted out a palm, and a terrifying aura was emitted from his body. Sensing Daoist He Mi's aura, Mo Qingyun's gaze turned cold, and a murderous intent arose in him. Daoist He Mi seemed to be mediating, but in fact he wanted to cripple him with a palm. Humph. Guessing Daoist He Mi's intention, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold, and he immediately snorted at him. Immediately, Mo Qingyun did not show mercy and immediately slashed out his sword at him. Waving the nine-bull divine sword in his hand, a mysterious intent realm was emitted from Mo Qingyun's body. Time was like light. Space. Space. Defense ignore. As the sword light blasted out, the power of laws was added to the sword light. Under the enhancement of various powers, He Mi's speed instantly reached extreme. Not only that, He Mi, He Mises, Hey and Hey Hay's, He Mi, Hey of Hey of a Hey of Hey of Hey, Hey. However, what shocked Daoist Wami was that the sword beam had directly pierced through his palm. Puff! The sword beam did not stop after piercing through Daoist Xiaomi's hand, and instead, it severely injured his shoulder. Daoist Xiaomi's expression trembled when he saw the situation. His face was filled with shock. Clearly, he hadn't expected that a half-step universe realm brat would be able to injure him in a single exchange. "Little brother, this old man tried to persuade you out of goodwill, but you actually attacked and injured me. Taoist Ming Mi's face was filled with displeasure when he saw his own injuries. He chided Mo Qingyun and said, "Your heart is so vicious. This is not a good thing. It's better for you to accept my advice and mend your ways as soon as possible." As soon as Taoist Ming Mi finished speaking, he took out a folding fan and fanned it at Mo Qingyun. Under the fanning of Taoist Ming Mi, one black storm after another swept towards Mo Qingyun. "If you want to help Sun Jie, just say it. There's no need to make yourself sound so noble." When Mo Qingyun saw Taoist Ming Mi's action, his disdain for him grew even deeper, and he mocked him. Taoist Ming Mi did not mind Mo Qingyun's disdain at all. He smiled faintly and said, "Little brother, it seems like your devil intent is too deep. In order to prevent you from harming the myriad of worlds in the future, this old man will enforce justice on behalf of the heavens." As soon as Taoist Ming Mi finished speaking, he no longer concealed himself and attacked Mo Qingyun with all his might. Taoist Ming Mi was worthy of being an eternal realm expert. Under his powerful attacks, Mo Qingyun was forced to retreat again and again. The strength of an eternal realm expert is too strong. With my current strength, I can barely take a few blows from him. After exchanging blows with Taoist Ming Mi for a while, Mo Qingyun's heart trembled. He now had a better understanding of eternal realm experts. After discovering the gap between them, Mo Qingyun did not want to stay any longer and prepared to leave immediately. Eternal Age. Seeing Taoist Ming Mi's palm shadow approaching, Mo Qingyun immediately slashed out with his sword and blasted out a powerful sword ray. Then, the sword ray hit the palm shadow and stopped its attack. "Run!" After blocking Taoist Ming Mi's attack, Mo Qingyun did not continue to fight. He immediately rode the Nine-Bull Divine sword and fled. With the support of several types of energy, Mo Qingyun's fleeing speed immediately increased to the extreme. In the blink of an eye, Mo Qingyun successfully escaped from encirclement and pulled away from Taoist Ming Mi. Seeing Mo Qingyun turn around and flee, Sun Jie's face darkened. He wanted to chase after Mo Qingyun. Young sect master Sun Jie, don't chase after a cornered enemy. Seeing Sun Jie's action, Taoist Ming Mi shouted and stopped chasing after Mo Qingyun. Hearing Taoist Ming Mi's words, Sun Jie's expression changed, and he stopped chasing. With his current strength, he was no longer Mo Qingyun's opponent. The consequences of chasing after him were unpredictable. Unless Taoist Ming Mi was willing to accompany him and continue chasing after Mo Qingyun. However, if that was the case, the price he would have to pay would be several times greater. That kind of reward was not something he could afford. With this thought in mind, Sun Jie no longer hesitated and stopped chasing. "Oomph. Count yourself lucky this time. Next time, I will definitely kill you." Seeing Mo Qingyun flee far away, Sun Jie clenched his fists and said unwillingly. Sun Jie muttered to himself. His eyes lit up and he said, "With this kid's strength, it is very likely that he will participate in the Starfield battlefield. It won't be too late to deal with him then. Right now, the most important thing for me is to raise my cultivation base. There is no hurry to deal with that kid. Once my cultivation base breaks through to the eternal realm, it will be much easier to deal with him." While Sun Jie was pondering silently in his heart, Taoist Ming Mi walked over and said with a faint smile, "Young sect master Sun Jie, since that kid has escaped, I shall not stay any longer. I shall bid you farewell now. Thank you for your help. Take care." When he saw Taoist Ming Mi's actions, Sun Jie did not try to stop him. Instead, he cupped his fists politely and said, "I will remember today's kindness in my heart. If you need my help in the future, feel free to ask me." "All right." Taoist Ming Mi nodded when he saw Sun Jie's attitude. Chapter 2780. In the vast starry sky, a stream of light streaked across at an extremely fast speed. Upon closer inspection, one would find that the stream of light was a young man flying on a sword. The young man flying on a sword was Mo Qingyun, who had escaped the pursuit of Sun Jie and his companion. Eternity Realm experts are indeed powerful. Fortunately, Sun Jie's cultivation is not in the eternity realm. After successfully getting rid of Sun Jie and his companion, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed and a sense of relief rose in his heart. If Sun Jie's cultivation had reached the eternity realm, the situation would be completely different. After all, Daoist Xiangmi's appearance was only an occasional occurrence. It was unrealistic for him to help Sun Jie chase Mo Qingyun all the time. With my current strength, I will still feel some pressure if I encounter an eternity realm expert. I have to break through to the universe realm as soon as possible. Mo Qingyun frowned as he recalled the time when he faced Daoist Mengmi. He felt a sense of urgency as he said, "If I had the cultivation of the universe realm and cultivated the 9 directions divine bull sword technique to the 3rd level, I definitely wouldn't be so passive when I fought Sun Jie and the other man." The more Mo Qingyun thought about it, the more impatient he became. He wanted to break through even faster. As long as he broke through to the universe realm, he would be able to protect himself even if he faced a 3-star expert. When I return to the Divine Wood continent, I will go into seclusion and break through to the universe realm. While Mo Qingyun was on his way, a plan formed in his mind. He knew what to do next. In the following time, Mo Qingyun sped all the way back to the Divine Wood continent. In the imperial palace of the Divine Wood continent, "Your Highness, the king of Beixian is getting more and more arrogant. Not only did he proclaim himself king, but he also plundered cities. This person is too ambitious. We must not tolerate him anymore. If it wasn't for the fact that young Master Mo has yet to return, how could he be so arrogant? It is mainly because of the support of the Dark Devil race. Otherwise, with his strength, how could he compete with us?" Thinking of the king of Beishuan's actions, Shi Wendy and the others' faces darkened with anger. Looking at Shi Wendy and the others, Wang Zishu frowned and said calmly, "Everyone, don't be impatient. When Qing Yun returns, we will begin our counterattack." Hearing Wang Zishu's words, Shi Wendy and the others no longer spoke, and each of them revealed looks of anticipation. They were all hoping that Mo Qingyun would come back sooner to suppress Lord Beishuan's arrogance. After comforting everyone, Wang Zishu's expression remained unchanged as she continued. "What we need to do now is to preserve our strength and try not to confront them head-on." Yes, everyone nodded in agreement. At this moment, as everyone was discussing, a thin figure entered the main hall. When everyone saw the figure clearly, they were all dumbfounded. Their faces were filled with shock. They were looking forward to Mo Qingyun's return, but they didn't expect that Mo Qingyun would return. This was too much of a coincidence. What happened? Seeing everyone's reaction, Mo Qingyun's brows furrowed in confusion. In his opinion, even if he came back, everyone should not have such a reaction. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Wang Zishu was the first to react. She said, "Lord Beixian has the support of the Dark Devil clan and has rebelled. Now, not only has he proclaimed himself as Lord, but he is also annexing territories bit by bit. Sure enough, he chose to rebel. Since he has chosen to do so, he can't blame me." After learning about Lord Beixian, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold and emitted a murderous intent. Previously, when he saw some of Lord Beishuan's actions, he vaguely guessed that Lord Beixian would not be content with his lot. Unexpectedly, after he left the Divine Wood continent for a while, Lord Beixian could not bear it anymore. "Qingyun, since you are back, should we mobilize troops to deal with Lord Beixian?" After explaining the situation to Mo Qingyun, Wang Zishu asked for Mo Qingyun's opinion. Hearing Wang Zishu's question, Mo Qingyun shook his head and said, "Don't do it for the time being. I have to go into seclusion for a while. When I come out of seclusion, it won't be too late to deal with him." Wang Zishu nodded. Since Mo Qingyun said so, she knew what to do. What they had to do now was to wait patiently until Mo Qingyun came out of seclusion. Next, Mo Qingyun asked about the situation again, and then he went into seclusion. Back at his residence, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and came to the Fortune mainland. Arriving at the Fortune mainland, Mo Qingyun did not stop and went straight to the Grand Mist Fog Sea. Immediately, Mo Qingyun began to hunt Grand Mist spirits, preparing to refine them to improve his strength. About 10 days later, under Mo Qingyun's hunting, he had hunted several space realm Grand Mist spirits, and the strongest one had reached the peak of the space realm. After refining these Grand Mist spirits, I should be able to break through to the space realm. Looking at the Grand Mist spirits in front of him, Mo Qingyun's lips curled into a faint smile. Then, without hesitation, he began to refine the Grand Mist spirits. As he continued to refine the Grand Mist spirits, Mo Qingyun's aura rose little by little. Time always passed very quickly during cultivation. Unknowingly, several days had passed. After several days of cultivation, all of the primordial spirits that Mo Qingyun had hunted down had been completely refined by him. After refining the primordial chaos spirit, the aura that Mo Qingyun emitted also reached the pinnacle. Not bad, I can break through to the space realm. Sensing his own situation, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious, and he began to break through the barrier of the space realm. Mo Qingyun had comprehended 6 types of spatial laws, so it was very easy for him to break through to the space realm. With a thought, Mo Qingyun controlled his saint power and broke through the barrier of the space realm. The whole process of breaking through was as smooth as water flowing through a canal. There were no obstacles at all. As Mo Qingyun's cultivation broke through, the aura he exuded reached a new level. I broke through. After breaking through to the space realm, Mo Qingyun's face lit up and he revealed a bright smile. Although I have comprehended spatial laws at the celestial domain grade and can use them to fight, I'm still not as proficient in using spatial laws as I am in the space realm. In just an instant, Mo Qingyun felt the benefits of breaking through. Given my current situation, I should be able to contend with Taoist Mengmi if I meet him again. Mo Qingyun pondered this silently. He now had a rough understanding of his own strength. Then, Mo Qingyun stopped thinking about it and once again immersed himself in cultivation. His cultivation had just broken through, so he had to stabilize it and make his foundation more solid. Under Mo Qingyun's cultivation, the aura he exuded began to stabilize bit by bit. A few days later, Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating. His cultivation had completely stabilized. Chapter 2781. The 9 Directions Divine Bull Sword Technique is indeed a sword technique for refining weapons. I need to refine a powerful divine sword. After reading the 3rd layer of the 9 Directions Divine Bull Sword Technique, Mo Qingyun was even more certain of his guess. Immediately after, Mo Qingyun took out 3 materials and began refining the 9 Directions Divine Sword. Let's refine the Star Nest source first. Glancing at the 3 materials, Mo Qingyun first took the Star Nest source and refined it into the 9 Directions Divine Sword. As the Star Nest source was refined into the 9 Directions Divine Sword, the aura of the 9 Directions Divine Sword immediately underwent a huge change. Originally, the 9 Directions Divine Sword gave people the feeling that it was just a sharp and powerful divine sword. But after being refined into the Star Nest source, it was completely different. It was as if it had been bestowed with life. What a mysterious feeling. Sensing the aura of the 9 Directions Divine Sword, Mo Qingyun's expression changed. A look of surprise appeared on his face. He did not expect that refining the Star Nest source into the 9 Directions Divine Sword would cause such a change to occur. After uttering this sentence of surprise, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately worked even harder to refine the sword. Under Mo Qingyun's continuous refinement, the aura of the 9 Directions Divine Sword became stronger and stronger. In the following time, Mo Qingyun refined the 3 materials into the 9 Directions Divine Sword. After spending half a month, Mo Qingyun finally managed to refine the 3 materials into the Divine 9 Oxen Sword. After refining the 3 materials, Mo Qingyun discovered that there was an additional divine ability imprint on the 9 Directions Divine Sword. I wonder what the 3rd divine ability imprint will be like. Looking at the divine ability imprint on the Nine Directions divine sword, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with anticipation. He immediately activated it. Then, a mysterious power was emitted from the Nine Directions divine sword. When this power was emitted, Mo Qingyun knew what the third divine ability was. If my guess is right, the Nine Directions divine sword's third divine ability should be to break the time law. When Mo Qingyun discovered this point, his expression became excited. A bright smile appeared on his face as he said, "In this way, if I meet an ordinary Eternal Realm expert again, I will have the power to fight." The reason why Eternal Realm experts were powerful was because of their use of time law. Now that the time law was ineffective, Eternal Realm experts had no advantage over Mo Qingyun. One had to admit, the Nine Directions divine sword was too heaven-defying. Now that I've made a breakthrough in my cultivation and refined the Nine Bull divine sword, it's time to deal with Lord Beixian. Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated after seeing his harvest from this time's seclusion. He immediately left the Fortune mainland. After returning to his room, Mo Qingyun didn't stop. He immediately went to find Wang Zishu and the others. Discussion hall. Under Mo Qingyun's summons, everyone quickly gathered here. "Mr. Mo, you've broken through to the space realm? I didn't expect Qingyun to be one step ahead of me and break through to the space realm. The gap between people is too big. I think it won't be long before we are all surpassed." Sensing Mo Qingyun's cultivation, everyone sighed, as if they had suffered a blow. Compared to the others, Wang Zishu was the most indifferent. She pretended to be displeased and said, "Qingyun's cultivation has improved. Aren't you happy?" Hearing Wang Zishu's words, everyone quickly shook their heads in denial. Seeing everyone's reaction, Mo Qingyun spread his hands and said, "I've decided to go find King Beixian immediately. You guys assign tasks and select a few people to go with me." Everyone began to discuss who should go with Mo Qingyun. Soon, they came to a conclusion and decided to let Shi Wendy and Pan Yong accompany him. The two of them had a lot of strategies and were more cautious. It would be safer for them to go with him. It was not that they did not trust Mo Qingyun, but with the two of them accompanying him, things would be more comprehensive. In this way, Mo Qingyun would not have to worry about trivial matters. In that case, let's not waste any time and set off immediately. Seeing that everyone had finished their discussion, Mo Qingyun nodded at them, got up, and walked out of the discussion hall. After leaving the discussion hall, Mo Qingyun took out the black demon flying ship and headed to King Beixian's territory. "Sure, Wendy, you two are familiar with the place. Come and control the flying ship." Once Mo Qingyun entered the flying boat, he instructed Sure Wendy and Li Qiye to control the flying boat and hasten on their journey. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Sure Wendy and Pan Yong responded and went to control the flying ship. After handing the flying ship to Sure Wendy and Pan Yong, Mo Qingyun talked to Wang Zishu and asked her about the recent situation. Previously, Mo Qingyun was in a hurry to cultivate in seclusion, so he did not have time to talk to Wang Zishu in detail. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Wang Zishu told Mo Qingyun about the recent events. There were some trivial matters, such as Wang Zishu being a little tired of being the empress of the Divine Wood dynasty. Hearing Wang Zishu's thoughts, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and pondered for a while. He said, "You continue to hold the fort. When we find a suitable candidate, you can give up the throne. Of course, this candidate could not be King Beixian." "Okay." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Wang Zishu immediately nodded in response. Soon after, time quietly passed bit by bit as everyone hurried on their way. 3 days passed quickly. After 3 days of traveling, Mo Qingyun and the others came to a city. This was King Beixian's base camp, Beixian City. "Let's go in." When Mo Qingyun came to Beixian City, they put away the black demon flying ship and entered Beixian City. When Mo Qingyun entered Beixian City, he saw people coming and going. It was a prosperous scene. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun's face revealed a look of surprise. He became interested in the arrival of these people. Mo Qingyun could see that these people seemed to be attracted by something. Let's follow and have a look. Looking at the behavior of the people in the city, Mo Qingyun was curious and followed behind them. After a while, Mo Qingyun followed behind the crowd and came to a huge mansion. At the door of the mansion, there was a huge notice posted. The content of the notice was roughly recruiting talents to expand the territory for King Beixian. This King Beixian's ambition is really big. Seeing the notice at the door, Sure Wendy's face darkened and a strong anger arose. Understanding the purpose of these people, Mo Qingyun's lips curled up slightly. He slowly walked forward and said, "Come, let's go sign up and help King Beixian." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Sure Wendy and the others' expressions immediately became interesting. At the same time, they were looking forward to seeing what Mo Qingyun would do. Chapter 2782. What's your name? The old man in charge of registration lowered his eyelids and didn't even look at Mo Qingyun. Seeing his attitude, Mo Qingyun and the others frowned, but they didn't show it. This man's strength was not weak. He had reached the middle stage of the universe realm and was considered a tyrant on the Divine Wood continent. In his eyes, ordinary people were not worth his attention. Even if Mo Qingyun and the others had reached the universe realm, he didn't need to be polite. After all, he had the backing of Lord Beixian and the support of the Dark Devil clan. Mo Qingyun didn't hide his identity and directly said his name. Hearing Mo Qingyun's name, the old man didn't react at all and instinctively registered his identity. Seeing the old man's performance, Mo Qingyun was stunned. He was a little surprised by this situation. Lord Beixian had gathered people to deal with Wang Zishu, but the old man didn't know his existence. Mo Qingyun was surprised by this situation. He didn't expect it. However, after thinking about it for a while, Mo Qingyun felt relieved. The old man's performance should be because he thought his name was someone with the same name. The Divine Wood continent was vast and densely populated. It was not surprising that there were people with the same name. Next, after registering Mo Qingyun's identity, the old man impatiently called. Hearing the old man's words, Sure Wendy and the others stepped forward and said their names. The result was the same. The old man didn't respond to the names of Sure Wendy and the others. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun and the others smiled at each other and slowly walked to the side. Qingyun, we've registered our identities. What should we do next? Following Mo Qingyun to the side, Wang Zishu was curious and asked Mo Qingyun's plan. Mo Qingyun raised his right hand and touched his chin. After thinking for a while, he said, "It's not difficult to deal with Lord Beixian. The key is the Dark Devil clan behind him. It's not too late to take action after we find out the strength of the Dark Devil clan." Okay, Wang Zishu and the others nodded. If it weren't for the support of the Dark Demons, the forces controlled by King Beixian would have been defeated by them long ago. After Mo Qingyun and the others finished registering, the people behind them followed one after another and registered their own identities. Time slowly passed. After everyone had registered their identities, they stood aside and waited for further instructions. There are 3 late-stage universe realm cultivators, 11 mid-stage universe realm cultivators, 43 early-stage universe realm cultivators, and more than 1,000 celestial domains. As Mo Qingyun sat to the side and waited, he quietly calculated the strength of the people that came to submit. Upon receiving this data, the expressions of Sure Wendy and the other 2 immediately turned grave. Although they had recruited many soldiers during this period of time, they definitely did not have such a large number. King Beixian is quite resourceful. He managed to win over so many people in such a short time. Looking at the people in front of him, Sure Wendy's old face was heavy, and he said with a worried expression, "When he reorganizes these people and attacks us, I'm afraid we won't be able to resist. Even if we can resist, we will suffer heavy losses," Pan Yong added. Mo Qingyun did not respond to Pan Yong and Pan Yong's words. He just pondered silently. However, no Eternity Realm elite had appeared. No matter how many universe realm elites King Beishian recruited, it would not have any effect. After registering everyone's identities, the old man got up and walked into the residence as if to report the recruitment. After a while, the old man came out of the residence with a young man. This young man looked similar to King Beishian and should be a relative of King Beishian. Everyone, please be quiet. After coming out of the residence with the young man, the old man's expression was solemn. He spread his hands and said, "This is young Master Yunan, the second son of King Beishian. He is in charge of recruiting you this time." Everyone listened to him quietly. Hearing the old man's words, everyone quieted down and waited for the young man's instructions. Under everyone's gaze, the young man raised his head arrogantly and said, "Everyone, Yunan is really grateful that you have come to help. When we unify the Divine Wood continent, we will definitely reward you according to your merits. At that time, you will all enjoy glory and wealth. Young Master Yunan, don't worry. We will do our best to help." That's right. How can such a big Divine Wood continent be ruled by a woman? Other than King Beishian, I, Hammerly, will not submit to anyone. After Yunan An's words fell, a series of responses were heard. Seeing everyone's performance, Yunan revealed a bright smile and looked even more proud. At this time, Yunan's gaze fell on Wang Zishu in the crowd. Immediately, he revealed an excited expression. Obviously, Wang Zishu's appearance gave him a breathtaking feeling. Yunan glanced at Wang Zishu and whispered some instructions to the elder beside him. Hearing Yunan An's instructions, the old man immediately nodded in response and walked away from Yunan. After instructing the old man, Yunan did not stop talking and continued to make promises to everyone. Very quickly, half an hour passed. "Everyone, I'm sure you're tired from the long journey." Yunan persuaded everyone, then revealed a warm smile and said, "We have already prepared the guest rooms for you to settle in. Quickly go and rest. Of course, if you have a suitable place to stay, you can return to your own place." Under Yunan's arrangement, some people left with the guards and went to the place arranged by Yunan to stay. Of course, there were also some people who did not go and returned to their own place to stay. Among these people, Mo Qingyun and his group were included. "Let's go." Seeing that Yunan had settled everyone to rest, Mo Qingyun instructed a few people and walked out of the courtyard. After coming out of the courtyard, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious and said, "Be careful. Just now, Yunan glanced at us. He might have discovered our identities." Hearing Mo Qingyun's reminder, Sure Windy and the other two immediately raised their guard. As expected, when Mo Qingyun and the rest left, they were secretly watched. After a while, Mo Qingyun and the rest came to a restaurant and booked a few guest rooms. After Mo Qingyun booked the guest rooms and ordered some dishes, Yunan brought a group of people over. "Indeed, they are here." Seeing that Yunan had brought people over, Mo Qingyun's lips curled up slightly and revealed a meaningful smile. Yunan acted as if he did not see Mo Qingyun's gaze and walked directly to Wang Zishu. When he came in front of Wang Zishu, Yunan humbly clasped his hands and said, "I am Yunan. Greetings, Mississippi. We have already met just now. I wonder if Miss would be willing to do me the honor of coming to my residence for a chat." Hearing the purpose of Yunan's visit, Mo Qingyun and the rest were shocked. They did not expect that Yunan had come to look for them because of Wang Zishu. After understanding the purpose of Yunan's visit, Wang Zishu smiled playfully and said, "Mr. Yunan, do you know my name?" Chapter 2783. Is there any connection? Yunan was puzzled. He did not understand what Wang Zishu meant. In his opinion, he wanted to pursue Wang Zishu. What did it have to do with her name? Seeing Yunan's reaction, Mo Qingyun and the rest shook their heads. They looked at each other and smiled. From this, it could be said that Yunan did not know anything about their identities. It had to be said that the Lord of Beishian was not comprehensive enough in this aspect. Even his own son did not know about the enemy situation. Seeing Yunan's performance, Mo Qingyun could not help but think of the time when he was looking for Tang Gong. If he had Tang Gong's portrait, it would save him a lot of time. If Yun had the portraits of the few of them, such a scene would definitely not happen. Young Master Yunin, I want to tell you that your work is not up to par. Looking at the confused Yun, and Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and explained to him. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yun was even more puzzled. He did not understand what Mo Qingyun meant. What do you mean? Seeing that Mo Qingyun was keeping him in suspense, Yunin asked unhappily. He felt that Mo Qingyun's words now seemed to be mocking him. Hearing Yun An's question, Mo Qingyun did not beat around the bush. He said directly, her name is Wang Zishu, and my name is Mo Qingyun. Is this answer enough? Wang Zishu, Mo Qingyun? These two names seem a little familiar. Yun An's brows were tightly furrowed. He looked thoughtful, but he still did not think much about it. After thinking hard for a while, Yun An's expression suddenly changed. His eyes widened, and he said in shock, You mean she is Empress Zishu, and you are the peerless genius of the heavenly bull divine sect, Mo Qingyun? Yun was really shocked to receive such an outcome. The person whom they had recruited to deal with actually appeared in front of him. This situation was indeed out of his expectations and caught him off guard. Not bad. Mo Qingyun nodded and looked at Wang Zishu. Now, do you still covet Zishu? Aye. Yun was speechless. It was indeed a little awkward for something like this to happen. However, Yun was not an ordinary person. After being momentarily at a loss for words, he said, Humph, you guys sure have guts to come to our Beixian city. I think you guys are tired of living. Mo Qingyun had a faint smile on his face as he looked at Yun calmly. He did not look flustered at all. Mo Qingyun's behavior made Yun An's face turn even uglier. He glanced at Wang Zishu and said, Initially, I still wanted to use a gentle method to capture her confidence. From the looks of it, there's no need to go through so much trouble. I'll just capture you and bring you back. The feeling of having sex with the Empress should be very wonderful. Upon hearing Yun An's words, Wang Zishu's face immediately darkened. Not only did Wang Zishu's face turn ugly, but Mo Qingyun's expression also turned cold, exuding an icy chill. From his point of view, Yun An's words had already crossed his bottom line. You don't have the chance. Looking at Yun and in front of him, Mo Qingyun's expression was cold as he spoke to him slowly. Yun did not care about Mo Qingyun's words at all. He laughed and said, Mo Qingyun, I've heard some things about you. I know that your talent is outstanding and you're powerful. However, in Beixian City, even if you're a real dragon, you still have to be obedient. After Yun finished speaking, he waved his hand and ordered his men to capture Mo Qingyun and the rest. Fine. Before dealing with the king of Beixian, I'll use you as a warm-up. Seeing Yun An's action, Mo Qingyun muttered to himself and attacked Yun An's men. Mo Qingyun pointed his finger, and a shocking saint power turned into streaks of sword radiance. When the sword radiance was formed, it emitted a dazzling light and blasted towards Yun An's men. What a fast sword move! What a powerful sword radiance! Seeing Mo Qingyun's attack, Yun and the others trembled. Their faces were full of shock. They obviously did not expect Mo Qingyun's strength to be so strong. Under Mo Qingyun's attack, these people in the early and middle stages of the universe realm had no ability to resist at all. Bang, bang, bang. Under the bombardment of the sword radiance, the few of them were all blasted away and instantly lost their combat strength. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, not only was Yun stunned, but Sure Wendy and the rest were also stunned. Mr. Mo's strength is much stronger than before. Sure Wendy's old face was filled with shock, and his eyes were wide open. Hearing Sure Wendy's words, Pan Yong smiled bitterly and shook his head. This increase in strength can be described as earth-shattering. No, impossible. How can your strength be so strong? Seeing several of his universe realm subordinates being crippled by Mo Qingyun's finger, Yun was so frightened that his face turned pale. Even so many of his subordinates were no match for Mo Qingyun, let alone Mo Qingyun himself. Under the intense panic, Yun did not dare to stay any longer and immediately retreated out of the restaurant. Do you think you can leave without my permission? Seeing Yunan's action, Mo Qingyun's face turned serious, and he raised his hand to grab him. A majestic Saint Power turned into a golden claw shadow and enveloped Yun, and facing the claw shadow, Yun was directly captured and brought to Mo Qingyun. Well, what are you trying to do? Seeing his situation, Yun was flustered and stuttered as he asked. Mo Qingyun did not respond to Yun's question. He only looked at Yun coldly. A pure soul power suddenly flew out from between Mo Qingyun's eyebrows and turned into a huge eyeball. The eyeball formed above Mo Qingyun's head and emitted a terrifying, devouring power that enveloped Yun. No, the memories in his head were forcibly taken away by Mo Qingyun, and Yun let out a series of screams. After a while, Yunan's screams stopped, and he fell to the ground with a dazed look in his eyes. Only a quasi-eternal realm. There is no need to worry. After forcibly taking away Yunan's memories, Mo Qingyun had a clear understanding of the Dark Demon race's elites. This time, the strongest elite that the Dark Demon race had sent was only a quasi-eternal realm elite. Facing such an elite, Mo Qingyun's current strength was not too difficult to deal with. Since I know the Dark Demon race's strength, there is no need to waste time. With this thought in mind, Mo Qingyun stood up and lifted Yun up. Immediately after, Mo Qingyun walked out of the restaurant and returned to the residence that he had registered at. Since the king of Beixian wanted to gather his men, he could not sit idly by and do nothing. He had to retaliate. If those people saw that he had crippled Yun, they should know what to do. Chapter 2784. Plop. A muffled sound was heard. A figure fell from the sky and landed in the middle of the courtyard. He was sprawled on the ground like a dead dog. When the guards in the courtyard saw the figure that fell, they all looked nervous. Immediately after, they put up their guard and looked around vigilantly. Oh no, young Master Yun was killed. Recognizing the person who was thrown on the ground, the guards in the courtyard were shocked and shouted in panic. Yun was the second son of the king of Beixian. He was killed in Beixian City. This matter was too serious. If the king of Beixian blamed them, they would definitely be punished. Under the shouts of the guards, the people living in the courtyard were all alarmed and came over. Not long after, Yun's body was surrounded by people who came to surrender. Who is it that did this? Isn't he a little too daring? Killing young Master Yun is equivalent to fighting the king of Beixian to death. They are simply too bold. Don't bother about who killed young Master Yun. Let's report this to the king of Beixian first. The group of people discussed for a while and came to a decision. Then, a steward in the mansion passed the news to the king of Beixian. A steward in the middle stage of the universe realm reported Yun's death to the king of Beixian and said, "Everyone, we will definitely investigate the matter of young Master Yun's death. Go back and rest first." Hearing the steward's words, the people who came to surrender returned to their own residences. However, there was a hint of worry on their faces. They were worried about their own situation. Even Yun was killed. Obviously, someone is unhappy with the king of Beixian. If I'm not wrong, it should be Empress Zishu's people. It seems that we have underestimated the Empress. The Empress can overthrow Wang Zhao's power. Naturally, we can't underestimate her. Now that they have only killed Yun, they're clearly killing the chicken to warn the monkeys so that we will retreat. If we don't retreat, they will probably attack us. I'd better leave as soon as possible. Everyone discussed, and someone immediately chose to leave. Seeing that someone took the lead to leave, some timid people also chose to leave. In just a moment, almost half of the people who came to surrender had left. Although there are some who aren't afraid of death, the situation is better than I thought. Looking at the people leaving one after another, Mo Qingyun nodded with a faint smile. He was very satisfied with this situation. Seeing that he had achieved his goal, Mo Qingyun did not want to stay any longer. He nodded to Wang Zishu and the others and said, "Let's go back to the restaurant and wait patiently for the arrival of King Beixian." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Wang Zishu and the others quickly followed and returned to the restaurant. Back in the restaurant, Mo Qingyun and the others returned to their respective rooms, patiently waiting for the arrival of Lord Beixian. Not long after Mo Qingyun and the rest returned, a group of people came to the restaurant to inquire about how Yunan was killed. Although they knew the cause of Yunan's death, they were not in a hurry to take action and capture Mo Qingyun and the rest. Instead, he wanted to wait for the arrival of the king of Beixian so that he could personally kill Mo Qingyun to avenge the death of Yun. And a few days later, a large group of people came to Beixian City. When these people arrived in Beixian City, they exuded a cold aura, causing the people in the city to be nervous. "Greetings, Your Highness." Looking at the middle-aged man at the front of the group, a man in the middle stage of the universe realm bowed respectfully. In the face of this person's bow, the king of Beixian's expression was indifferent. He said, "What exactly happened? Who killed Yunan? Have you investigated clearly?" "Your Highness, we have investigated clearly the person who killed young Master Yun, and under the inquiry of the king of Beixian, this person nodded respectfully and said, 'They are at Tongfu restaurant. In order to avoid alerting them, we have not taken action and are waiting for Your Highness to come back and make a decision.'" The king of Beixian nodded and waved to the people behind him. He said, "Let's go to Tongfu restaurant. I want to see who gave him the courage to kill my son, Yun." And under the guidance of the middle-aged man, the king of Beixian and the rest rushed to Tongfu restaurant. The guy who killed young Master Yun and is going to be unlucky later. He asked for it. After killing young Master Yunan, he still dares to stay here and not leave. That guy is not leaving. Could it be that he has something to rely on? Rely on? Do you know what level of cultivation the man in black beside the king of Beixian has reached? What level? Half step to eternal realm. In front of such a strong person, do ordinary people in the universe realm have the ability to resist? Following behind the king of Beixian, some people were whispering. In their opinion, no matter what Mo Qingyun relied on, he would definitely die later. Not long after, the king of Beixian and the rest arrived outside Tongfu restaurant and surrounded it. "Greetings, Your Highness. I don't know what mistake I have made to make Your Highness come here personally." Seeing that the king of Beixian had arrived with such a large force, the shopkeeper of Tongfu restaurant was flustered and quickly greeted the king of Beixian. In response to the shopkeeper's greeting, the king of Beixian's face darkened. He shouted, "This is none of your business. Get lost immediately." "Yes." Hearing the order of the king of Beixian, the shopkeeper immediately retreated to the side with a lingering fear. After giving the order to the shopkeeper, the king of Beixian ordered the people beside him to bombard the restaurant. Boom, boom, boom. Under the command of the king of Beixian, the guards attacked frantically and flattened the restaurant in the blink of an eye. As the restaurant was flattened, the guests living inside flew out one after another. "King of Beixian, I haven't seen you for a while. You become angrier." Flying out of the restaurant, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and looked at the king of Beixian in front of him. Seeing the appearance of Mo Qingyun, the king of Beixian's expression trembled and he instinctively panicked. Mo Qingyun's strength were still fresh in his memory. The reason why he dared to rebel was that Mo Qingyun had left for a long time and there was no news at all. Slowly, he thought that Mo Qingyun had encountered some mishap while searching for the star nest origin. Unexpectedly, after a period of time, Mo Qingyun had actually returned and come to the king of Beixian. Universe grade. He has broken through to the universe grade. Sensing Mo Qingyun's cultivation level, the king of Beixian was shocked and the panic on his face deepened. Mo Qingyun, who had a celestial domain grade cultivation level, was already extremely difficult to deal with. Now that Mo Qingyun's cultivation level had improved, it was even more difficult to deal with him. "Mr. Mo, you killed my son without any explanation. Shouldn't you give me an explanation?" Glancing at the black-robed man beside him, the king of Beixian calmed down and questioned Mo Qingyun unhappily. Mo Qingyun's expression did not change in the face of the king of Beixian's questioning. He said coldly, "Those who disobey will be killed without mercy. Yunan recruited troops to rebel, so I killed him to prevent future trouble. Is this reason enough? Chapter 2785. Lord Beixian, you allowed your son to rebel. Do you know your crime? Seeing that Lord Beixian was silent, Mo Qingyun questioned him again with a cold face. In the process of dealing with Wang Xiao, Lord Beixian had also done his part and could be regarded as a founding father. Therefore, when dealing with him, there must be a good reason to capture him. Otherwise, if he was taken down by force, it would leave a bad impression. Although Mo Qingyun was not afraid, it was better for Wang Zishu to pay attention to this when she wanted to govern the divine Wood continent. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Lord Beixian's expression trembled, showing some guilt and panic. Mo Qingyun questioned him like this. If there was no accident, he should be going to kill him. I don't know. After calming himself down, Lord Beixian raised his head, looking as if he was unwilling to be punished. Mo Qingyun did not care about Lord Beixian's performance and winked at Shi Wendy next to him. Convicting someone of a crime was something that Shi Wendy was more adept at doing. With Mo Qingyun's permission, Shi Wendy nodded and began to announce Lord Beixian's crimes. Next, Shi Wendy revealed all of Lord Beixian's improper behavior. There are a total of 73 pieces of evidence, each of which is true. He should be punished. After recounting Lord Beixian's crimes, Shi Wendy's face was cold, and he made a beheading gesture. Hearing Shi Wendy's words, Lord Beixian's expression was calm. He laughed and said, "Haha, it's not as easy as you to convict me." Mo Qingyun's expression was indifferent. He looked at Lord Beixian quietly, as if he was looking at a clown. "If your army came, I might be afraid. But with just a few of you," Lord Beixian paused in the middle of his words, glanced at Mo Qingyun and the others, and said, "It's not that I look down on you, but before you convict me today, you'd better think about how to leave here first." As soon as Lord Beixian finished speaking, he waved at his men and ordered them to attack Mo Qingyun and the others. At Lord Beixian's command, the experts behind him immediately surrounded Mo Qingyun and the others. "Stop!" Looking at the crowd surrounding him, Pan Yong's face turned cold as he shouted, "Do you want to rebel too? Do you know the consequences of attacking the Empress?" Pan Yong's words caused everyone to be a little stunned, giving rise to a sense of hesitation. "Winner takes all. From now on, there will be no more Empress. Don't just stand there." Looking at his men's hesitation, Lord Beixian's face darkened, and he immediately urged them. Under Lord Beixian's urging, the crowd no longer hesitated and rushed towards Mo Qingyun and the others. "You're courting death." Seeing these people's actions, Mo Qingyun's face sank, and he took out the nine-bull divine sword. When a nine-bull divine sword fell into his hand, Mo Qingyun swept forward and blasted out a dazzling sword light. The sword light flashed and instantly hit everyone at a speed that was imperceptible to the naked eye. Bang, bang, bang. Under the overbearing bombardment of the sword light, everyone was blasted away and the aura on their bodies weakened. With one sword, more than 10 Universe Realm experts were all crippled and lost their combat strength. Seeing this scene, the surrounding onlookers were all pale with fright. This kind of combat strength was too terrifying. His battle prowess has actually reached such a level. Seeing Mo Qingyun's strength, Lord Beixian was so frightened that his legs went weak and he almost fell to the ground. When he found that Mo Qingyun's cultivation had broken through, he had overestimated Mo Qingyun's strength. He did not expect that Mo Qingyun's true strength was even more terrifying than he had estimated. With the strength that Mo Qingyun had shown, he was afraid that he could not even take one blow from Mo Qingyun. When Lord Beixian thought of this, he looked at the black-robed man beside him, hoping that he could change the situation. "Lord Ziding, please take action and capture this kid." Lord Beixian was horrified when he saw that his subordinates had been crippled and pleaded with the black-robed man beside him. Ziding's face darkened when he heard Lord Beixian's question, and he slowly took off his cloak. "Your strength is much stronger than I thought, but it is still not enough." Ziding had an indifferent expression on his face as he looked at Mo Qingyun. He shook his head at Mo Qingyun and said, "If I was at the peak of the universe realm, perhaps I wouldn't be able to do anything to you. Unfortunately, my cultivation is only at the quasi-universe realm. If you were at the Aeon realm, I might be afraid. Unfortunately, you are only at the quasi-eternal realm." When he heard Ziding's arrogant words, Mo Qingyun was not to be outdone and immediately retorted. Mo Qingyun wasn't being arrogant when he said that. He was merely stating the truth. Given his current strength, he would be able to put up a fight even if he encountered an early-stage Eternity Realm expert. "You sure talk big." Ziding was very displeased by Mo Qingyun's attitude and shouted, "I hope your strength is as powerful as your words." As soon as Ziding finished speaking, he stretched out his palm and took the initiative to attack Mo Qingyun. Ziding blasted out his palm, and a terrifying bloodline power emanated from his body. Enveloped by this bloodline power, the expressions of the surrounding people all tensed up. Some people with weaker cultivations were suppressed to the point that their blood flowed in the opposite direction and they suffered some minor injuries. Seeing this kind of situation, everyone's fear towards the purple cauldron immediately became even greater. What a powerful bloodline power! When he sensed Ziding's bloodline power, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly, and his eyes flashed with surprise. Among the Dark Devil clan he had encountered, Ziding's bloodline power could be said to be the strongest. "Although your bloodline power is strong, it is useless against me." After calming himself down, Mo Qingyun replied calmly to the purple cauldron. As Mo Qingyun spoke, he did not hesitate to activate his bloodline power. Immediately, a powerful bloodline aura emanated from Mo Qingyun's body. After activating his bloodline power to counteract Ziding's bloodline pressure, Mo Qingyun swung his sword. Break! As soon as the Nine-Bull Divine Sword fell into his hand, it was infused with saint power and blasted out a sharp sword light. The sword radiance flashed and destroyed Ziding's palm shadow, neutralizing his attack. As the palm shadow was dispersed, the bloodline pressure emitted by Ziding also weakened a little. "You have some skill." Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Ziding's expression became colder. He said, "It seems that the bloodline in your body is very unusual. If I can plant it, the grade of my bloodline will be improved." Ziding snorted and attacked Mo Qingyun again. This time, his attacks were even more ferocious. "I'm afraid you don't have the ability." In the face of Ziding's attack, Mo Qingyun did not retreat at all and decisively swung his sword at him. With a sweep of the sword, the Nine-Bull Divine Sword was surrounded by fluorescent light and blasted out a crescent-shaped sword light. Facing the sweeping sword light, the purple cauldron didn't dare to take it head-on and immediately retreated. Chapter 2786. Seeing such a scene, the surrounding people were stunned. They had not expected that Ziding would not gain the slightest advantage against Mo Qingyun. No wonder the Empress could defeat Wang Xiao. It turns out that she has such a monster protecting her. I've always heard rumors about Mo Qingyun, but I didn't expect him to be even stronger. With Mo Qingyun protecting her, the Empress's world is impregnable. Beixian King's situation is not looking good. He made a mistake and lost the whole game. Everyone was shocked by Mo Qingyun's performance and worried for Beixian King. In their opinion, even though Beixian King had a strong backing, he was far from being able to compare to Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun was able to fight against a quasi-eternal realm elite with his early-stage universe realm cultivation. More importantly, although the strength he displayed was strong, the potential he possessed was even more terrifying. It was conceivable that once Mo Qingyun broke through to the eternal realm, his strength would be even more terrifying. While everyone was marveling, Mo Qingyun and Ziding had already exchanged close to 100 blows. After crazily exchanging over 100 moves, Mo Qingyun still hadn't fallen into a disadvantageous position. In fact, he was faintly showing signs of gaining the upper hand. Faced with such a situation, everyone was endlessly astonished and felt that it was somewhat hard to believe. You just SOSO. After blocking Ziding's attack once again, Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain and said, "If you don't have any other skills, don't blame me for being rude." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he strengthened his attack and began to counterattack Ziding. At that moment, a mysterious aura emanated from Mo Qingyun's body. This is the aura of time loss. This discovery gave Ziding quite a fright, causing his face to turn pale. Even with his quasi-eternal realm cultivation, he had not comprehended time loss. However, Mo Qingyun, with his early-stage universe realm cultivation, had sensed a trace of time loss. This was simply too frightening. While Ziding was shocked, his killing intent towards Mo Qingyun became even more intense. For a long time, everyone had said that Mo Qingyun was the Dark Devil race's greatest threat. At first, he was very disdainful of this view, but now, he finally believed a little. Mo Qingyun's cultivation talent was simply too terrifying. If he was allowed to continue to grow, the consequences would be unimaginable. It would make one unable to eat or sleep in peace. "Brat, this old man admits that I underestimated you just now, but I won't let you be so smug anymore." Ziding's face was dark and gloomy. After saying this, he attacked Mo Qingyun again. At this moment, the purple cauldron pushed the power of his bloodline to its limits, giving off a horrifying feeling. Ziding's wrist shook, and a black spear fell into his hand. Taisher's sky-piercing spear. With the long spear in hand, Ziding's body rushed forward, thrusting his spear towards Mo Qingyun. Under the purple cauldron's brandishing of the long spear, it immediately blossomed with a blood-red light, giving people an extremely enchanting feeling. Roar! A spear shadow with surging blood chi turned into a huge blood dragon, swooping down towards Mo Qingyun. As the blood dragon swam, the space trembled as if it was about to be shattered by its aura. Time like light. In the face of the blood dragon's attack, Mo Qingyun did not retreat at all. Instead, he quickly brandished the divine Nine-Bowl sword. At this moment, the divine Nine-Bowl sword emitted a mysterious aura under Mo Qingyun's brandishing. As the sword slashed out, a sword light flashed like a meteor falling. Pucci! When the sword light appeared again, it had already struck the blood dragon, directly slicing it apart. As the blood dragon was sliced apart, it slowly dissipated, turning into a pure energy. Seeing this scene, Ziding's expression trembled. His body trembled as he said, "What a powerful sword move." He actually integrated the time concept into his sword move. This brat is too monstrous. While Ziding was still in shock, Mo Qingyun's attack did not slow down, and he slashed at him again. The concept of Mo Qingyun's sword move was even more mysterious than the previous one. It gave him a feeling that he could not see through it. Not good. This is the time prohibition concept. While Ziding was in shock, he discovered that Mo Qingyun's sword move was unusual. However, even though he had discovered it, it was still impossible for him to block it. Under the sword move, Ziding could not help but feel that time had stopped. When this feeling appeared, Ziding realized that his thoughts had slowed down and stopped. Pucci! At this moment, the sword light hit Ziding, sending him flying. As Ziding was sent flying, he spat out a mouthful of blood, his aura weakened. "This brat is too strong. I am no match for him. I have to leave this place immediately." When Mo Qingyun attacked with his sword, Ziding immediately made a decision. He did not want to stay any longer. Then, he turned around and immediately fled out of North Edict City. I can't let him escape. Otherwise, he will bring in stronger dark demons. Seeing that Ziding wanted to escape, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold, and he immediately chased after him. He knew very well that if he let Ziding escape, it would be like letting a tiger return to the mountain. Time without regrets. While chasing after Ziding, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate in the slightest to stab at him once more. A faintly discernible sword light blasted out and immediately enveloped the purple cauldron. Then it bombarded him at an extremely fast speed. Enveloped by the power of the sword light, Ding's body flashed and slowly retreated. Time reversal concept. Seeing his situation, Ding's expression trembled and his eyes widened. If it was said that Mo Qingyun's previous performance had shocked him, then his current performance had frightened him. Dark blood, space-time escape. Seeing his situation, Ding did not dare to hesitate and immediately used a secret technique to escape. A violent bloodline fluctuation erupted from Ding's body, and his body turned into a ray of black light. Then, he disappeared from Mo Qingyun's sight and escaped from Mo Qingyun's pursuit. What a pity, seeing Ding escape. Mo Qingyun shook his head regretfully and said, "It seems that with my current strength, it will still be difficult to kill a quasi-eternal realm expert." The difference between defeating and killing was fully demonstrated at this moment. Mo Qingyun sighed. He did not think too much and returned to North Edict City. Seeing Mo Qingyun return to the city, the people in the city were stunned and could not believe the result. Even with Ding's powerful strength, he was forced to flee in a fight with Mo Qingyun. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, Mo Qingyun returned to Wang Zishu's side and looked coldly at North Edict King, saying, "North Edict King, do you have anything else to rely on? If you don't have it, then you should obediently admit your crimes." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, North Edict King's expression trembled and his face turned as white as paper. Chapter 2787. Mr. Mo, I was forced to do this. Please give me a chance to change. Knowing his situation, Lord Beixian looked lonely and begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. Mo Qingyun's face was cold and unmoved by Lord Beixian's begging. "Humph! If I hadn't defeated Ding, you wouldn't have said that." Faced with Mo Qingyun's rebuke, Lord Beixian's expression trembled and he was speechless for a while. Mo Qingyun was right. If the situation hadn't changed, he wouldn't have regretted it. Looking at the silent Lord Beixian, Mo Qingyun pointed at him and forcibly sealed his cultivation. "Take him down." After sealing Lord Beixian's cultivation, Mo Qingyun motioned to Pan Yong and Pan Yong to capture Lord Beixian. Immediately, Lord Beixian was captured by the two of them and placed behind Mo Qingyun. "Let's go back." Seeing that Lord Beixian was captured, Mo Qingyun didn't want to stay any longer and took out the Black Demon flying ship. After escorting the king of Beixian into the Black Demon flying ship, they set off for the divine Wood Imperial capital. Mo Qingyun frowned and said, "Although we captured the king of Beixian, Ding escaped. This will be a huge hidden danger." Sitting in the Black Demon flying ship, Mo Qingyun's face was cold and gloomy, thinking about how to deal with the dark demons. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of Sure Windy and the others also became heavy. They were very clear about the strength of the dark demons. If they really wanted to deal with them, the consequences would be unimaginable. They were definitely not a match for them. Forget it. Let's take one step at a time. We'll deal with it as it comes. After thinking hard for a while, Mo Qingyun shook his head and stopped thinking about it. In his opinion, it was useless to think about it now. It was not something he could control. Several hours later, Mo Qingyun and the others returned to the Divine Wood Imperial capital and took Lord Beixian to the dungeon. After settling the matter with King Beixian, Mo Qingyun didn't want to stay any longer. He found Wang Zishu and the others and said, "I've been away from the Wild Continent for a long time and haven't gone back to take a look. I'm going to go back and solve some small problems." He was still worried about the hidden dangers of the heavenly constellation Dragonstone race. Yes, hearing Mo Qingyun's idea, Wang Zishu nodded in agreement. Soon after, Mo Qingyun controlled the Black Demon flying ship and hurried back to the Wasteland continent. To the current him, the heavenly constellation Dragonrock clan was nothing. However, to the heavenly soul demons, it was still a huge threat. Leaving it alive would always be a hidden danger. However, Mo Qingyun was not worried about the safety of the heavenly soul demons. With Rin Jun and Luo Jin around, the heavenly soul demons would not be in any danger. While controlling the flying boat, Imo Qingyun split his attention into two, cultivating as he hurried along. But after an unknown period of time, the gate of destinies that had been motionless all this time suddenly trembled a little. When this feeling appeared, Imo Qingyun's expression immediately trembled. He focused his attention to observe the gate of destinies. If nothing unexpected happened, the gate of destinies should have shown a new remarkable ability. Under Imo Qingyun's observation, a rapidly flashing door of light formed in the gate of destinies. This is the gate of time. Looking at the constantly flashing door of light, Imo Qingyun's expression became joyful. His heartbeat became faster. If his guess was correct, the situation of the gate of time should be similar to the gate of space. With this thought in mind, Imo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately deployed the gate of time. Under Imo Qingyun's urging, the gate of time quickly condensed and emitted a gentle light. This light enveloped Imo Qingyun. Imo Qingyun felt that the flow of time slowed down. Time slowed down. Sensing his own situation, Imo Qingyun's eyes lit up. He recognized this law. After recognizing the law of time slowed down, Imo Qingyun's lips curled into a faint smile. He said, "If I meet Taoist Mengmi now, even if I can't kill him, it shouldn't be a problem to severely injure him." As Imo Qingyun thought to himself, he removed the gate of time and continued to immerse himself in cultivation. In the following time, Imo Qingyun cultivated as he rushed to the wasteland continent. A few days later, Imo Qingyun rushed back to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan at full speed. As soon as Imo Qingyun returned to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan, Rinjun and Luo Jian sensed it and went to welcome him. "Greetings, Master." Seeing Imo Qingyun approaching, Rinjun and Luo Jian bowed. In response to their actions, Imo Qingyun waved his hand indifferently and asked, "Has anything happened in the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan recently?" "Master, someone came to invade us once, but I chased them away." Hearing Imo Qingyun's question, Luo Jian waved his hand indifferently. It was obvious that the invaders were not strong. After hearing this, Imo Qingyun's expression relaxed a little. The worry in his heart was relieved. It seemed like the Heavenly Star Dragon Rock Tribe did not invade the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan while he was away. At this moment, while Imo Qingyun and the other two were talking, Tian Song and the others came out to welcome them. "Qingyun, you're back. We haven't seen each other for a while. Your cultivation has become stronger. Your cultivation has probably reached the celestial domain grade." "No, Master's cultivation has probably broken through to the universe grade." Universe grade. Everyone exchanged pleasantries with Imo Qingyun, and all of them revealed shocked expressions. Looking at the shocked crowd, Imo Qingyun responded with a faint smile and said, "Don't just stand here. Let's in the hall and talk." Following Imo Qingyun's lead, everyone walked toward the conference hall. On the way to the conference hall, Imo Qingyun sensed the cultivation situation of Tian Song and the others. Through Imo Qingyun's probing, he discovered that Tian Song and the others' cultivations had improved significantly. Tian Song, who had the highest cultivation, was already at the peak of the nebula grade. He was not far from the galaxy grade. Although this cultivation was not enough in front of Imo Qingyun, it was considered extremely strong in the desolate continent. After walking into the conference hall, Rinjun pondered for a moment before saying, "Master, I sensed a powerful intent scanning the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan from time to time. It might be harmful to the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan. Is there such a thing?" Hearing Rinjun's report, Imo Qingyun's expression shook, and a trace of surprise appeared on his face. Then, Imo Qingyun looked nervous and asked Rinjun immediately, "Can you sense what that person's cultivation is like?" "I'm not sure exactly, but I'm sure that it's at least at the universe grade." Rinjun had a grave look on his face as he reported his senses to Imo Qingyun. In his opinion, although Imo Qingyun had broken through to the universe grade, he might not be a match for that person. Based on his senses, That person's aura was much stronger than Mo Qingyun's, so he was definitely not an ordinary universe grade. Universe grade? Mo Qingyun frowned when he heard Rin Jun's report. He was curious. He had not expected that there would be a universe-grade powerhouse on the desolate continent. This was really surprising. Chapter 2788. After understanding the situation of the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan, Mo Qingyun guided everyone's cultivation. Under Mo Qingyun's guidance, Tian Song and the others' cultivation questions were answered one by one. Not only Tian Song and the others, but Rin Jun and Luo Jian also benefited a lot under Mo Qingyun's guidance. After Master's guidance, I feel that my cultivation is not far away from the universe realm. After listening to Mo Qingyun's explanation, Rin Jun was pleasantly surprised and said excitedly. As soon as Rin Jun finished speaking, Luo Jian said with an impatient expression, "Just now, I felt that the barrier of the universe realm seemed to have loosened a little. I have to go into seclusion immediately." After Luo Jian finished speaking, he excused himself from Mo Qingyun and returned to his residence to cultivate in seclusion. Seeing that Luo Jian had returned to cultivate in seclusion, Rin Jun also did not stay to digest Mo Qingyun's cultivation insights. Everyone went to cultivate, but Mo Qingyun was not idle either. He also immersed himself in cultivation. After an unknown period of time, Mo Qingyun's mind shook and he withdrew from his cultivation. He said in surprise, "Rin Jun is right. There really is a soul power that swept through the entire Heavenly Soul Demon Clan." After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and rushed toward the source of the soul power. After being chased by Mo Qingyun for a while, he frowned and a touch of surprise appeared on his face. He said, "The source of this soul power seems to lead to the Dark Mainland. Could it be that the Dark Demon Clan has revived again?" When this thought appeared in his mind, Mo Qingyun's heart became heavy. With the hatred between him and the Dark Demon Clan, the other party must have bad intentions by constantly monitoring the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan. After a few hours, under Mo Qingyun's continuous pursuit, he came to the front of an abyss. His brows furrowed even more. I didn't expect the source of the soul power to come from the dark spirit abyss. Finding the source of the soul power, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but make a guess. He muttered to himself, "Could it be that the blood shadow remnant has returned and is hiding in the dark spirit abyss to train?" As Mo Qingyun thought of this, he entered the dark spirit world abyss and carefully moved forward. Entering the dark spirit realm abyss this time, Mo Qingyun already could not feel that kind of sense of crisis from before. The demonic insects on the corpses of the members of the Dark Heaven Holy Clan were no longer a threat to him. Mo Qingyun rushed all the way to the chest of the corpse and stopped. This was because he could feel a powerful aura fluctuating from the head of the corpse. Late-stage universe realm. Sensing the aura fluctuations ahead, Mo Qingyun's expression turned grave as he raised his guard. Although the other party only had a cultivation base at the late stage of the universe realm, the sense of threat that he brought was stronger than Taoist Mingmi. "Brat, you really came. I've been waiting for you for a long time." When Mo Qingyun stopped in his tracks, a gloomy voice was heard from the front. Immediately, Mo Qingyun saw a blood-red figure slowly flying toward him. "It's really him." Seeing the blood-red figure appear, Mo Qingyun's eyes narrowed as he recognized it. The blood-red figure in front of him was the blood shadow remnant that had chased after him previously. He didn't expect the blood shadow remnant Will's cultivation base to reach such a level after not seeing it for a while. Even Mo Qingyun couldn't catch up with this kind of cultivation speed. It had to be said that the cultivation talent of the Dark Heaven Holy Clan was really a little too terrifying. The blood shadow remnant had only inherited a part of his talent, but it already had such a cultivation talent. From this, one could imagine how powerful the cultivation talent of the real Dark Heaven Holy Clan was. You really know how to choose a place to bury yourself. After sizing up the blood shadow remnant Will, Mo Qingyun's lips curled into a cold smile as he mocked him. Then he said, "But thinking about it, this is the place where you were born. Burying you here is in accordance with the principle of karma." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the blood shadow remnant Will's expression turned ferocious as he said coldly, "Brat, although your strength has improved a lot, you will still end up being killed in front of me. Have you forgotten that the last time you fought with me, you were beaten to the point of running away like a dog?" Hearing the blood shadow remnant Will's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly as he shook his head. He asked in return, "The first time we fought, I was powerless and could only run for my life. The second time we fought, I barely managed to contend with you. The third time, I severely injured you. What do you think will happen this time?" "Humph." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the blood shadow remnant Will snorted coldly as he felt a strong sense of displeasure. However, he could not refute. Every time he fought with Mo Qingyun, his strength would greatly improve. The dark spirit devouring gate. The blood shadow remnant was speechless. He did not want to talk nonsense with Mo Qingyun and directly launched an attack. The blood shadow remnant quickly formed a handprint and pointed at his glabella. A shocking saint energy blasted out. Immediately, a black light gate flew out from the glabella of the blood shadow remnant Will and enveloped Mo Qingyun. The black light gate flashed and directly enveloped Mo Qingyun, emitting a terrifying, devouring power. What a terrifying, devouring power! Feeling the devouring power around him, Mo Qingyun's expression trembled as he was shocked. He said, "Under this devouring power, I feel the saint energy in my body flowing away like water." Sensing his own situation, Mo Qingyun's expression turned solemn as he thought about how to resolve the situation. With the devouring power of the black light gate, his saint energy would be completely devoured in half an hour at most. If he lost his saint energy, even if he had many tricks up his sleeve, he could only be killed by the blood shadow remnant Will. The space shattered. While Mo Qingyun was shocked, he did not hesitate and immediately slashed forward with his sword. A sharp sword radiance flew out from the nine-bowl divine sword and blasted toward the black light gate. Boom! The sword radiance hit the black light gate and made a deafening sound, causing the black light gate to tremble. However, what made Mo Qingyun helpless was that the black light gate did not show any signs of collapse in the face of the sword radiance's attack. What a powerful divine power! Seeing the defensive power of the black light gate, Mo Qingyun's expression became even more solemn. His all-out attack could not destroy the black light gate, which put him in a bad situation. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was trapped, the blood shadow remnant revealed a complacent expression and laughed. "Boy, unless your cultivation has reached the eternal realm, it's impossible for you to escape from my divine ability. Rest in peace and die while your saint energy is devoured." As soon as the blood shadow remnant finished speaking, he smiled proudly as if victory was in his hands. Looking at the blood shadow remnant Mo Qingyun's expression was solemn as he pondered quickly. While Mo Qingyun was pondering, he did not stay idle and tried various ways to resolve the situation. Chapter 2789. No, unless my cultivation reaches the eternal realm, I won't be able to break through his divine power. After several failures, Mo Qingyun had already accepted the reality that he could not break through the blood shadow remnant divine power. Mo Qingyun understood this point, so he no longer continued to attack. It was pointless to waste his energy. My saint power is being consumed too quickly. It's not a long-term solution to be trapped like this. The rapid loss of saint power made Mo Qingyun's heart heavy and gave rise to a strong sense of urgency. If he did not think of a way to break through the blood shadow remnant divine power, his situation would become worse. If he was not careful, it was possible that he would be trapped in the blood shadow remnant divine power. Boy, don't make any futile resistance. Just wait for your death. Seeing Mo Qingyun's situation becoming increasingly distressed, the blood shadow remnant laughed complacently. Don't worry. This seat will not disgrace your reputation after seizing your body. I will definitely make your name resound throughout the 10,000 realms. Mo Qingyun did not respond to the Blood Shadow Remnant thought's words. He was thinking quickly in his mind. After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up as he thought of a way to break through death's door. Mo Qingyun raised his arm and blasted a palm forward. A mysterious force blasted out of it. Soon, a black light door formed in front of Mo Qingyun. After condensing the death's door, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and entered it in a flash. As Mo Qingyun entered the death's door, the terrifying, devouring power immediately disappeared from his body. What replaced it was an ice-cold death energy that shrouded his body. Disperse. Sensing the erosion of the death energy, Mo Qingyun dispersed it with a thought. After doing all this, Mo Qingyun relaxed and took a deep breath. Phew, the crisis in front of me is barely resolved. However, if I want to break through the Blood Shadow Remnant thought's divine power, I'll have to continue thinking of a way. This kid's superpower can actually block the attack of the Dark Spirit Devouring Sect. How strange. Seeing the Death's Door's performance, the Blood Shadow Remnant thought frowned and revealed a shocked expression. He did not expect that Mo Qingyun still had such a trump card. This was beyond his expectations. Kid, although your performance surprised me, it's nothing more than a last-ditch struggle. After calming down, the Blood Shadow Remnant thought snorted coldly, and his expression became even colder. In his opinion, the more methods Mo Qingyun displayed, the more benefits he would gain after taking over his body. You'll be even more surprised later. At that time, you'll understand whether or not I'm struggling on my deathbed. After countering the Blood Shadow Remnant thought, Mo Qingyun ignored it and continued to think of a way to break the god art. After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun thought of another idea. His face revealed a look of anticipation as he said, I hope this method works and can resolve the current crisis. Mo Qingyun made a decision in his heart. He no longer hesitated and immediately began to try. The Gate of Time, with a thought in Mo Qingyun's mind, a rapidly flashing light gate formed in front of him. Following the formation of the Gate of Light, a mysterious power began to emit from it. With the support of the power of the Gate of Time, a mysterious power of the law was born in Mo Qingyun's body. The law of time rewind. Sensing the power of the law in his body, Mo Qingyun frowned and was surprised. He muttered to himself, strange, this law seems to be the law of time rewind, but it's a little different. I wonder what will happen if I use it? With strong anticipation, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate in the slightest, and he activated the energy of the laws. As these nomological laws were activated, Mo Qingyun felt the long river of time recede rapidly. Whoosh! Mo Qingyun's vision blurred, and he disappeared from the spot. When he saw the scene in front of him clearly, he had returned to a period of time ago and was moving towards the corpse's chest. One overbearing law of time. It actually returned to an hour ago. After confirming the current time, Mo Qingyun's face was full of shock. This situation was not light. Although the power of the law of time rewind could reverse time, the extent was very limited. Mo Qingyun had never heard of reversing time by an hour. If I'm not mistaken, the law of time rewind should be unique to the Gate of Fortune. Mo Qingyun's mind stirred. He had a guess and roughly understood the reason behind this. At that moment, as Mo Qingyun was thinking, the Blood Shadow Remnant consciousness came out of the corpse's head. Boy, you're here again. I've been waiting for you for a long time. When he saw Mo Qingyun's arrival, the Blood Shadow Remnant consciousness sneered and said with a proud expression, I was just thinking about where to find you. I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come to me. As soon as the Blood Shadow Remnant consciousness finished speaking, he frowned and had a strong feeling of doubt. It seemed that although Mo Qingyun had used the law of time rewind to return time to an hour ago, there was still a trace of the law of time rewind. In the Blood Shadow Remnant consciousness's mind, there were still some vague memories of what had just happened. It was just that this feeling was very strange, making it difficult for him to distinguish between the truth and the illusion. After thinking hard for a while, the blood shadow remnant consciousness shook his head and stopped thinking about this problem. You're too proud too early. It's not necessarily a good thing for me to take the initiative to come to you. Hearing the blood shadow remnant consciousness's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and responded with a calm expression. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, the blood shadow remnant consciousness's face darkened and he shouted angrily, "You talk big. Soon, I'll let you know whether you're walking into a trap or not." The dark spirit swallowing sect. As soon as the blood shadow remnant consciousness finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. The blood shadow remnant consciousness formed a seal with both hands, pointed at his forehead, and blasted out a violent force. When this force blasted out, it turned into a black light gate and shrouded Mo Qingyun. However, what shocked the blood shadow remnant consciousness was that when the black light gate shrouded Mo Qingyun actually dodged it easily. How is this possible? Seeing this strange scene, the blood shadow remnant consciousness widened his eyes and couldn't believe it was true. This can't be true. No matter how alert this kid is, it's impossible for him to dodge my divine ability. Unless he already guessed, the more the blood shadow remnant consciousness thought about it, the more scared he became. If it was really as he thought, Mo Qingyun was too strange. Nothing is impossible. The world is vast and boundless. There are many things you don't know. In the face of the blood shadow remnant consciousness's shock, Mo Qingyun's face was calm as he retorted, "Since you've finished attacking, it's my turn to fight back." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and slashed at the blood shadow remnant consciousness with his sword. Chapter 2790. The speed of the sword radiance was extremely fast. It arrived in a flash. Before the blood shadow remnant thought could react, the sword radiance was already in front of him, leaving him with no way to escape. So fast. Looking at the approaching sword radiance, the blood shadow remnant thought was stunned. His face was filled with shock. He could feel that Mo Qingyun's sword was enough to threaten his life. If he dared to be careless, he would be killed by Mo Qingyun's sword. Understanding his situation, the blood shadow remnant thought put his palms together and condensed a violent saint power. Soon, a huge black light door formed in front of the blood shadow remnant thought. Boom! As the black light door formed, the sword radiance blasted on it and made a loud noise. At the same time, a terrifying power fluctuation came from the black light door. Seeing the power storm formed, Mo Qingyun and the blood shadow remnant thought quickly retreated to avoid the power storm. After a while, the power storm slowly dissipated, revealing the figure of the blood shadow remnant thought. At this moment, his face was dark and ferocious. He looked at Mo Qingyun coldly. "I can't believe that this guy's strength has improved so much in such a short time." Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw that his sword had been blocked. He was shocked once again. He knew that the blood shadow remnant thought had a strong origin, and his cultivation speed must be amazing. However, Mo Qingyun did not expect that the blood shadow remnant thought's cultivation speed had reached such a level. "I can't let him continue to cultivate. Otherwise, I'll be in a bad situation." After calming down, Mo Qingyun's killing intent toward the blood shadow remnant thought reached an unprecedented level. For him, it was the best opportunity to kill the blood shadow remnant thought. If he missed this opportunity, it would be several times more difficult to kill the blood shadow remnant thought. Time flies. With the killing intent toward the blood shadow remnant thought, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and stabbed at him again. Mo Qingyun waved the 9-oxen divine sword forward, and a profound and powerful concept was emitted from his body. Under the support of the concept of time, the speed of the sword light increased by a lot. It was even faster than the previous sword strike. Concept of time. Sensing the sword light's artistic conception, the blood shadow remnant thought's expression shook and its eyes widened. Immediately after, the way he looked at Mo Qingyun changed greatly. He said in shock, "This kid is merely at the early stage of a universe realm, but he has already comprehended the concept of time. If I allow him to continue growing, I might really die at his hands. I can't allow him to continue growing." At this moment, the thoughts of the Blood Shadow Remnant thought and Mo Qingyun coincided. Dark Sky, Holy Summoning Gate. With the intent to kill Mo Qingyun, the Blood Shadow Remnant thought no longer held back and used an even stronger ability. Soon, a whirlpool-like black light gate formed in front of the Blood Shadow Remnant thought. When the light gate formed, it emitted a terrifying, devouring power, absorbing the aura of the corpse. As the aura of the corpse was transferred into the black whirlpool-like light gate, the aura of the black light gate became stronger. After a while, a transparent black figure walked out of the black whirlpool-like light gate. Soul Summoning Gate, seeing the Blood Shadow Remnant thought's divine sense. Mo Qingyun's expression trembled, and his face was full of shock. He did not expect that the divine sense of the Blood Shadow Remnant thought would be so similar to the Summoning Gate. It's not the Soul Summoning Gate. This divine sense can only summon one. It's not as powerful as the Soul Summoning Gate. After observing the divine sense of the Blood Shadow Remnant thought, Mo Qingyun realized the difference between the two. While Mo Qingyun was thinking, the black shadow raised its arm and attacked the sword light. Puff! Under the attack of the black shadow, the sword light was immediately dispersed and turned into a cloud of pure saint power. After dispersing Mo Qingyun's sword light, the black shadow did not stop and chased after Mo Qingyun. In a flash, the black shadow appeared in front of Mo Qingyun and punched at Mo Qingyun. So fast, seeing the black shadow approaching, Mo Qingyun was shocked and his expression became tense. Although he was shocked, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately dodged the punch. Space expansion, space imprisonment. When Mo Qingyun dodged, he did not hesitate and immediately used the law of space. Under the shroud of the law of space, the black shadow's movement was greatly affected. Break! Seeing that the black shadow's movement was affected by the law of space, the Blood Shadow Remnant thought immediately dissolved it. Under the attack of the Blood Shadow Remnant thought, the law of space released by Mo Qingyun was forcibly dissolved. Roar! Breaking free from the law of space, the black shadow roared and chased after Mo Qingyun. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not meet it head-on. He chose to dodge while thinking of ways to defeat it. After the Blood Shadow Remnant thought summoned the black shadow, it seemed to be standing still. In the process of dodging, Mo Qingyun noticed a phenomenon. He noticed that the Blood Shadow Remnant thought was acting strangely. Mo Qingyun thought for a moment and guessed. He said to himself, could it be that the only way to ensure the black shadow's existence is to maintain the black vortex light door? With this thought in mind, Mo Qingyun's lips curled into a smile. He immediately approached the Blood Shadow Remnant thought. Seeing Mo Qingyun approaching, the Blood Shadow Remnant thought's expression twitched as if it had encountered something terrifying. In panic, the Blood Shadow Remnant thought did not dare to be careless and immediately summoned the Black Shadow to protect him. It's true, seeing the Blood Shadow Remnant thought's action, Mo Qingyun nodded in understanding and guessed the answer. Understanding this point, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately slashed at the Blood Shadow Remnant thought. It ignored defense. The sword light flew out from the nine-bold divine sword, and it was imbued with a mysterious power, causing its aura to become even sharper. Facing the attack of the sword light, the Blood Shadow Remnant thought did not retreat. Instead, it controlled the Black Shadow to resist. However, what shocked the Blood Shadow Remnant thought was that the sword light that Mo Qingyun blasted out suddenly pierced through the Black Shadow. How could this be? Seeing such a change, the Blood Shadow Remnant thought's face trembled and became a little pale. This change came too suddenly, and he was not prepared at all. No, Under the horrified gaze of the blood shadow remnant thought, the sword light hit him and sent him flying in a domineering manner. The blood shadow remnant thought was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his aura became weak. At the same time, the black vortex light door and the black shadow dissipated little by little. Seeing this situation, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and immediately followed up with another attack. Chapter 2791. Space Imprisonment. Space Compression. Defense Ignore. Time is like light. Time is eternal. Time has no regrets. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and arrived in front of the blood shadow remnant spirit. He kept waving the nine-bull divine sword. As Mo Qingyun waved his sword, streaks of sharp sword light shot out from the divine nine-bull sword. The sword rays were like light and flashed. Facing the storm-like sword rays, the blood shadow remnant spirit was overwhelmed and was quickly hit by the sword rays. Puff, puff. Under the bombardment of the sword rays, wounds immediately appeared on the blood shadow remnant spirit's body. After being bombarded by the sword rays, the blood shadow remnant spirit's injuries increased greatly and its aura weakened a little. Dying. After seriously injuring the blood shadow remnant spirit, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and stabbed at it again. Mo Qingyun's figure moved. He held the nine-bull divine sword and arrived in front of the blood shadow remnant spirit. Facing Mo Qingyun's attack, the blood shadow remnant spirit's head was pierced by the sword rays before it could react. Master, let me out to fuse with it. It has a lot of memories in its head. It would be a waste to let them dissipate. The nine-bull divine sword pierced through the blood shadow remnant spirit's head. And Chen's excited voice appeared in Mo Qingyun's mind. Hearing in Chen's words, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and immediately summoned him. Thank you, Master. And Chen came out of the Soul Palace and thanked him excitedly. Then he pounced on the blood shadow remnant spirit. Then, Chen entered the blood shadow remnant spirit's mind under Mo Qingyun's gaze. After Chen entered the blood shadow remnant spirit's mind, the blood shadow remnant spirit's body sat down cross-legged and entered a state of cultivation. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun didn't disturb it. Instead, he silently guarded it from the side. He knew very well that the blood shadow remnant spirit's actions were a sign that Chen was fusing with its memories. I wonder what kind of improvement Chen will have after fusing with its memories. Thinking about the fusion of Chen and the blood shadow remnant thought, Mo Qingyun had a sense of expectation. He muttered to himself, perhaps after they fuse, I will be able to see the true Dark Heaven Holy Clan. Mo Qingyun was very curious about the real Dark Sky Holy Clan. It was good that he could see it. The time that followed quietly passed bit by bit as Chen fused with his memories. As time passed, the aura emitted by the blood shadow remnant consciousness became purer and purer. It seems that not only did Chen fuse with his memories, he even took over his body. Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before he guessed what was going on. A look of understanding appeared on his face. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun was silently observing, a burst of energy fluctuation suddenly appeared. Boom, boom, boom. As soon as the energy fluctuation appeared, a loud sound came from all directions. Then, Mo Qingyun realized that the giant corpse beneath him was slowly rising. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun's expression trembled. He thought of a situation and said, could it be that Chen wants to refine this corpse and refine it into his body? As this thought appeared in his mind, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately became even more shocked. If it was really as he guessed, Chen's strength would definitely skyrocket after he finished cultivating. It seems that I will be able to see the true Dark Heaven Holy Clan after Chen finishes cultivating. Mo Qingyun thought to himself. He retreated to the side and waited for Chen to fuse with his memories and refine the corpse. After observing Chen for a while, Mo Qingyun withdrew his attention. He thought for a moment and said, since Chen has nothing to do, I'll take a look at the materials needed to cultivate the 4th level of the Nine Bulls Divine Bull Sword technique. time, demonic stone, divine will grass, and eternal sacred stone. After taking a look at the 9 directions divine bull sword technique, Mo Qingyun knew what he needed to cultivate the 4th level. He had never heard of any of these 3 items, but he was sure that these 3 items were extraordinary. It seems I'll have to put in a lot of effort to obtain these 3 items. Mo Qingyun sighed in his heart. He had a plan and thought to himself, when I return to the Supreme Harmony Demon Sect, I'll ask my master about these 3 items. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, with the experience of Sure Wendy and the others, they might not have any information about these 3 items. However, with Babeli's identity, he should have information about these 3 items. With this thought in mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and wholeheartedly devoted himself to cultivating. Time passed little by little. Suddenly, a mysterious energy fluctuation came from Mo Qingyun's side. When he sensed this energy fluctuation, Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating and looked ahead in shock. Enchantment has succeeded and refined the giant corpse. He's about to break through to the eternal realm. Seeing Enchant's situation, Mo Qingyun's expression turned to one of shock. He hadn't expected Enchantment to break through to the eternal realm after fusing with the memories of the blood shadow remnant consciousness and refining the giant corpse. Such a degree of improvement was simply too terrifying. One had to know that Enchant's cultivation had only been at the quasi-universe realm. However, when he thought about the origin of the powerhouse from the Dark Sky Sacred Sect, Mo Qingyun felt relieved. His cultivation, when he was alive, wasn't as simple as the eternal realm. Now that Enchantment had inherited everything, it wasn't strange for him to directly reach the eternal realm. This is good too. With Enchantment by my side in the future, it will be much more convenient for me to do things. After calming down, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He was very satisfied with this situation. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was thinking, Enchantment stopped cultivating. Thank you for helping me, Master. After Enchantment left his cultivation, he knelt down and bowed to Mo Qingyun with a grateful expression on his face. Mo Qingyun waved his hand in response to Enchantment's actions and said, "There's no need to be so polite. This is your fortune. I just did it in passing." After listening to Mo Qingyun's explanation, the gratitude on Enchantment's face didn't weaken in the slightest. He felt that if it weren't for Mo Qingyun, he wouldn't have been able to devour the blood shadow remnant consciousness. Your cultivation has just broken through. Return to the Soul Palace to cultivate first. I'm also leaving this place. After exchanging a few words with Enchantment, Mo Qingyun gave him some instructions and put him into the Soul Palace. After doing all this, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer. He got up and flew out of the Dark Spirit Abyss. He was still very satisfied with the harvest he had gained from this trip to the Dark Spirit Abyss. Not only did he solve the hidden danger of the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan, but he also greatly increased Enchantment's strength and gave him a powerful helper. This was something he had never thought of before coming here. The hidden danger of the Heavenly Soul Demon Clan has been solved. It's time to deal with the Heavenly Dipper Dragon Rock Clan. After leaving the Dark Spirit Abyss, Mo Qingyun had a plan and controlled the Black Demon flying ship to return quickly. Chapter 2792. A few moments later, on the Big Dipper continent. After coming out of the Dark Spirit Abyss, Mo Qingyun came here directly to deal with the Big Dipper Dragon Rock Clan. After arriving on the Big Dipper continent, Mo Qingyun didn't stop and went straight to the Big Dipper Dragon Rock Clan's headquarters. Before long, Mo Qingyun arrived outside the Big Dipper Dragon Rock Clan's headquarters with ease. Perhaps because Mo Qingyun hadn't come for a long time, the Big Dipper Dragon Rock Clan wasn't as nervous as before. To be exact, the Big Dipper Dragon Rock Clan now gave off an arrogant and despotic feeling. It seems like they've already treated me as if I don't exist because I haven't come to cause trouble. Looking at the scene before him, Mo Qingyun smiled disdainfully and mocked them. Then, Mo Qingyun didn't stop and walked towards the Big Dipper Dragon Rock Clan's headquarters. Before long, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of a large hall and saw some familiar people sitting inside. Young Master Tang, thank you for taking action this time and teaching those guys how to behave. Clan leader, sure, you're too polite. Since I promised Master, I'll naturally help your clan with all my strength. Elders, don't worry. With senior brother Tang here, Mo Qingyun will definitely die if he comes. He's just a Nebula Realm kid. Dealing with him is just a matter of clapping my hands. Standing outside the hall, Mo Qingyun heard the conversations of the people in the hall. Listening to their conversation, Mo Qingyun's lips curled up slightly and the disdain in his heart deepened. After that, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer and he walked toward the hall. Who are you? Stop right there. You're not allowed to enter the conference hall. You're courting death. Seeing Mo Qingyun approach, the guard guarding the conference hall sternly scolded Mo Qingyun. Upon hearing the guard's reprimand, everyone in the hall turned to look at Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun is here. He actually came. His cultivation seems to have grown even stronger. Could he have broken through to the galaxy grade? His cultivation speed is too fast. Seeing Mo Qingyun walk into the main hall, Sure Batian and the others trembled in fear. The strength that Mo Qingyun had displayed before had already left a shadow in their hearts. They instinctively feared Mo Qingyun. Seeing the behavior of Sure Batian and the others, the young man who had been fawned over earlier looked over in displeasure. After sizing up Mo Qingyun, he withdrew his gaze. His eyes were filled with disdain as he said, "Humph. Even if you use some kind of divine ability to conceal your cultivation level, you won't be able to conceal it when we really fight." I conceal my cultivation? Upon hearing the young man's words, Mo Qingyun was stunned for a moment before shaking his head with a faint smile. It had to be said that the young man's imagination was very strong. It was a little too strong. Mo Qingyun glanced at the young man and ignored him. Instead, he looked at Sure Batian and the others and said, "Long time no see, everyone. I heard your conversation just now. You seem to miss me very much." Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Sure Batian and the others had strange expressions on their faces. They hadn't missed Mo Qingyun. If they could choose, they would rather never see Mo Qingyun again. Calming down the panic in his heart, Sure Batian gulped and said, "Mo Qingyun, this is young Master Tang, from a 2-star force, Divinewood Continent's Divinewood Prime Minister's Mansion. I advise you to leave as soon as possible." After listening to Sure Batian's introduction, Tang raised his head proudly. Obviously, he was very proud of his identity. Divinewood Continent? Prime Minister's residence of the Divinewood Continent? Upon learning of Tang Yi's origin, Mo Qingyun was stunned. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He really didn't expect that Sure Batian's helper was actually from the Prime Minister's residence of the Divinewood Continent. Seeing Mo Qingyun's surprised expression, Tang Yi thought that Mo Qingyun was afraid, and his expression became even more proud. He said, "Boy, if you are afraid, then kowtow and admit your mistake. I can plead for you." Tang Yi's action made Mo Qingyun even more dumbfounded. He admired Tang Yi's sense of superiority. "Young Master Tang Yi, right? Do you know everything about the Divinewood Continent?" Looking at Tang Yi's performance, Mo Qingyun immediately guessed that he might not know about the changes in the Divinewood Continent. Otherwise, Tang Yi wouldn't be so indifferent when he learned that Wang Xiao and the others had fallen. "What do you mean by this?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Tang Yi's eyes narrowed slightly, and a chill appeared on his face. Mo Qingyun didn't care about Tang Yi's anger at all. He said, "It seems that you really don't know what happened in the Divinewood Continent." Seeing that Mo Qingyun didn't answer his question, Tang Yi's face became even uglier. He shouted, "Boy, don't be mystifying here. How can you know what happened in the Divinewood Continent?" As Tang Yi's words fell, he grabbed Mo Qingyun with his palm. It seemed that he wanted to capture Mo Qingyun. In the face of Tang Yi's attack, Mo Qingyun didn't move at all. There was no change in his expression. "Oomph. I thought you had some great skills. I didn't expect you to be scared silly by my attack." Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Tang Yi sneered proudly and said arrogant words. As Tang Yi's words fell, he didn't stop moving. He raised his hand and grabbed Mo Qingyun's shoulder. Looking at Tang Yi approaching, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold. He shouted, "Get lost." As Mo Qingyun spoke, a tsunami-like aura erupted from his body. Bang! Under Mo Qingyun's aura, Tang Yi was directly blasted away and fell heavily to the ground. Immediately, Tang Yi was like a pool of mud, crawling on the ground half dead. Seeing such a scene, the people around were stunned. Tang Yi, who was at the late-stage galaxy realm, was shaken to the ground and couldn't get up. What kind of strength was this? No, this can't be true. How can his strength be so strong? How can his strength improve so much in just a few years? This can't be true. It can't be true. Sure, Batian and the others couldn't believe the strength Mo Qingyun had displayed. They couldn't believe it. Looking at the shocked faces of Sure Batian and the others, Mo Qingyun said coldly, "Do you think that you can change your fate by finding a nobody?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Sure Batian and the others fell silent and trembled. After calming himself down, Sure Batian shook his head and walked up to Mo Qingyun. "Mo Qingyun, we were the ones who made the mistake. Please don't kill the other clansmen after killing us." "All right." Hearing Sure Batian's words, Mo Qingyun nodded and said, "Gather all the Sage Realm powerhouses of your tribe." Hearing Mo Qingyun's request, although Sure Batian was unwilling, he still did as he was told. Chapter 2793. Roughly half a month later, after traveling for over 10 days, Mo Qingyun finally returned to the demon sect of Supreme Harmony. He inquired about the three materials. After returning to the demon sect of Supreme Harmony, Mo Qingyun did not stop. He immediately went to find Babilai. Before long, Mo Qingyun found Babilai in his courtyard. "Qingyun, why did you come to find me in such a hurry? Do you have something urgent?" Looking at the travel-worn Mo Qingyun, Babilai revealed a curious expression and asked him why he had come. Mo Qingyun nodded when he heard Babeli's question. He said, "I've come to find Master because I want to ask about the Time Stone, Divine Will Grass of Realization, and Holy Rock of Eternity." Time Stone, Divine Will Grass of Realization, and Holy Rock of Eternity? Babilai was slightly surprised. He looked at Mo Qingyun in confusion and asked, "These three materials are extremely rare. Why are you looking for them?" In Babeli's opinion, with Mo Qingyun's cultivation and strength, he had no need for these three items. Disciple needs these three items to refine a magic treasure. Mo Qingyun did not hide anything from Babeli's question. He gave a simple answer before continuing, "If Master has any news about them, please tell me." Babilai became troubled by Mo Qingyun's request. He furrowed his brows and thought. Mo Qingyun did not rush Babilai when he saw his reaction. He waited silently to the side. After a while, Babilai sighed. Only then did he say to Mo Qingyun, "I've heard some news about the three items you're looking for. However, the places where they exist are all extremely dangerous. They're not places you can set foot in easily. Please tell me, Master." Mo Qingyun's face lit up with joy. He hurriedly clasped his hands towards Babilai. As for the danger that Babilai mentioned, Mo Qingyun did not care at all. He was willing to take the risk and try. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Babilai did not try to persuade him any further. He said in a deep voice, "The Time Stone and the Eternal Sacred Stone are not in this star field. With your current cultivation, I'm afraid you can't cross star fields to find them. You could try your luck with the last type of divine will grass." Hearing Babeli's words, Mo Qingyun's face lit up. His eyes were filled with anticipation. Under Mo Qingyun's expectant gaze, Babeli thought for a while before slowly saying, "About 670 million years ago, when Li Kuan broke through to Sector Lord Realm on Jiaoming continent, he let Realm Transformation Divine will grass grow there. You can go try your luck there. Under Worm continent." Mo Qingyun nodded and silently noted down the address. At the same time, he also felt some anticipation. He thought to himself, I didn't expect the realm transformation divine will grass to be related to the Likuan realm lord. I wonder if I can find the Likuan realm lord's cave when I get there. The more Mo Qingyun thought about it, the more excited he became. He also felt more and more anticipation. In his opinion, the Likuan realm lord's cave inheritance was very likely on Underworm Continent. After hearing about the realm transformation divine Woolgrass, Mo Qingyun asked about the situation on Underworm Continent. After Mo Qingyun learned about the realm transformation divine Woolgrass, he left Babeli's courtyard. I promised Master that I would hurry back to participate in the Starfield battle. Time is very tight. After leaving Babeli's residence, Mo Qingyun furrowed his brows. His mood had become rather heavy. He said, if that's the case, there are only a little over 4 months left. I have to hurry to the underworld serpent continent. With that in mind, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time and immediately set off for Underworm Continent. After leaving the Supreme Harmony Demon sect, Mo Qingyun controlled the Black Demon flying ship and rushed towards Underworm Continent. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that an even faster flying boat was chasing after him at an extremely fast speed. Soon, that ship caught up to the Black Demon flying ship and looked like it was going to overtake him. The Black Demon flying ship is too slow. I have to change to a faster ship as soon as possible. Seeing the Black Demon flying ship's speed, Mo Qingyun couldn't help but sigh. A plan formed in his mind. The Black Demon flying ship was a Starfield-grade ship. With his current cultivation and strength, he had to at least find a universe-grade ship. At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was thinking, a surprise voice came from another ship. Junior Marshal Brother Mo, so it's you. Where are you going? Hearing the voice, Mo Qingyun turned around and recognized the person. Greetings, Senior Marshal Brother Ding. After recognizing Ding Yu, Mo Qingyun cupped his hands and said, I'm going to the Jiaoming continent to see if I can find some divine wool herb. You're going to Underworm Continent? Knowing where Mo Qingyun was going, Ding Yu was shocked. The Underworm Continent isn't peaceful. You have to be careful there. Thank you for the reminder, Senior Marshal Brother Ding. I'll be careful. Mo Qingyun nodded gratefully at Ding Yu's good intentions, but he was a bit more vigilant now. After chatting with Mo Qingyun for a bit, Ding Yu explained the situation of the Dark Dragon Continent and said, Junior Apprentice Brother Mo, the Dark Dragon Continent is quite far away. With your flying boat speed, it'll take you a long time to get there. Since I'm going the same way as you, I'll give you a ride. Thank you, Senior Marshal Brother. Mo Qingyun didn't reject Ding Yu's suggestion and agreed readily. Then, Mo Qingyun put away the Black Demon flying ship and boarded Ding Yu's flying ship. Once Mo Qingyun was on board, Ding Yu sped up. It was indeed much faster than the Black Demon flying ship. Senior Marshal Brother Ding, why are you going to Black Sky Divine Mountain? Mo Qingyun asked curiously when they arrived on Ding Yu's flying boat. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Ding Yu glanced at him a few more times before smiling. Junior Brother Mo, I'm going to the Black Sky Divine Mountain to participate in a Starfield tea party. Why don't you join me in the fun? Ding Yu's suggestion put Mo Qingyun in a difficult spot. If he went with Ding Yu, he'd definitely waste time. Seeing Mo Qingyun's expression, Ding Yu guessed what he was thinking and said, the Black Space Mountain's Cloudly Auction House often has high-grade flying boat for sale. If you can get a high-grade flying boat, you can save some time on your journey. If that's the case, I can go. After hearing Ding Yu's words, Mo Qingyun made up his mind. If that's the case, I'll have to trouble Senior Marshal Brother for everything. Leave it to me. Seeing Mo Qingyun nod, Ding Yu laughed in satisfaction and patted his chest to assure Mo Qingyun. Then, Mo Qingyun rushed to Black Sky Divine Mountain under Ding Yu's lead. The Supreme Harmony Demon sect wasn't close to Black Sky Divine Mountain. Mo Qingyun and Ding Yu took close to 10 days to reach the vicinity of Black Sky Divine Mountain. When they arrived, Ding Yu didn't stop and directly brought Mo Qingyun to the Cloudly Auction House. Chapter 2794. Let's go in. When they arrived at the Yunli auction house, Mo Qin Yun and Ding Yu didn't stop and walked straight in. The Yunli auction house was very spacious. It was divided into 3 areas: the treasure inspection area, the exhibition area, and the auction area. Let's take a look at the exhibition area. After entering the Yunli auction house, Ding Yu led the way. Mo Qin Yun nodded and followed closely behind him. The exhibition area was very spacious. It was divided into many areas according to the type and grade of the magic treasures. Let's take a look at the auxiliary area. Mo Qin Yun wanted to buy a flying boat. A flying boat was an auxiliary magic treasure, so Ding Yu went to the auxiliary area. When they arrived at the auxiliary area, Mo Qin Yun saw all kinds of magic treasures with special effects. Trans-domain spiritual pearl. After use, teleport across a star domain. One-time use. Space-time secret wheel. After use, enter the river of time once to assist in comprehending the laws of time. Absolute beginning spiritual beast ring. Seal absolute beginning demonic beasts and summon them to increase their combat power. Time battleship. In addition to being able to travel through space channels, its flying speed is extremely fast. It also has a time force cannon. Even Eternal Realm experts can't take a hit from it. Mo Qin Yun was astonished as he read the introductions of the items one by one. He didn't expect that the Yunli auction house would have such rare items. Time battleship. Standing in front of the time battleship, Mo Qin Yun stopped in his tracks, a look of excitement appearing on his face. In addition to its flying speed, this time battleship also had powerful attack power. This made Mo Qin Yun very satisfied. Seeing Mo Qin Yun stop and look at the time battleship, Ding Yu understood his thoughts and said, "Junior brother Mo, your luck is really good. You actually came across such a flying boat. The items here don't seem to have a price." Looking around the time battleship, Mo Qin Yun didn't find any prices. He was puzzled and said, "If the price of the time battleship is too high and I can't afford it, then there will be some trouble." Hearing Mo Qin Yun's worry, Ding Yu smiled faintly and said, "Under normal circumstances, the price of a flying boat isn't too high. If you don't have enough money, I can help you gather some." "Thank you, senior brother Ding." Mo Qin Yun cupped his hands gratefully. He then revealed a puzzled expression and said, "There isn't even a person in charge here. Who should I look for to buy the time warship?" Junior apprentice brother Mo, you might not know this, but these items are not sold directly. Seeing that Mo Qin Yun had misunderstood, Ding Yu hurriedly explained, "The items displayed here are all items that will be auctioned in the next auction. If you wish to purchase them, you will have to attend the next auction." So that's how it is. After hearing Ding Yu's words, Mo Qin Yun was shocked. In his experience, he had never seen an auction house like the Yunli auction house. The auction is about to begin. Please head to the auction house as soon as possible to avoid any delays. While Mo Qin Yun and the young man were talking, an aged voice entered their ears. Hearing this voice, Ding Yu instructed and led the way. Yes, Mo Qin Yun nodded and followed. After a while, under Ding Yu's guidance, Mo Qin Yun arrived at the entrance of the auction house. What surprised Mo Qin Yun was that at this moment, the entrance of the auction house was filled with people lining up to enter. I didn't expect so many people to participate in this auction. Looking at the long line in front of him, Mo Qin Yun sighed with emotion. He was very surprised by this situation. However, when Mo Qin Yun thought about it, he didn't find it strange. The Yunli auction house had displayed a portion of the auction items to everyone. This kind of publicity was too great. After a while, Mo Qin Yun and the young man waited for a while before they arrived at the entrance of the auction house. At this moment, their path was blocked by 2 guards. After blocking Mo Qin Yun and the young man, one of the guards had a solemn expression and said in a deep voice, "The price of the ordinary hall is 10,000 star stones per person. The price of the VIP rooms is 1 million star stones for the elementary level, 10 million star stones for the intermediate level, and 100 million star stones for the advanced level. There's a fee to participate in an auction." Hearing this, Mo Qin Yun's eyes widened and his face was filled with shock. This was the first time he had heard that there was a fee to participate in an auction. In his opinion, ordinary auctions would only have fewer and fewer customers if they did this. However, the Yunli auction house did this, and there were still so many people. It was too surprising. "Give me an elementary VIP room." After calming himself down, Mo Qingyun took out a storage ring and threw it to one of the guards. After receiving Mo Qingyun's storage ring, the guard checked it and gestured to a young man beside him. "Gentlemen, this way, please." After receiving the order, the young man immediately walked up and greeted Mo Qingyun and the young man. Not long after, the young man led Mo Qingyun and the young man into a VIP room. "Young masters, this is your VIP room." After leading Mo Qingyun and the young man into the VIP room, the young man walked out and stopped at the door. "I'll stand guard at the door. If you need anything, you can summon me at any time." "Okay." Mo Qingyun nodded. Then, he waved his hand at the young man and gestured for him to leave the room. Seeing the young man leave, Dingyu smiled and teased. "Junior brother Mo, I've participated in the Yunli auction house a few times, but I've never been like you, choosing a VIP room. Looks like I'm going to enjoy myself this time." Mo Qingyun didn't refute Dingyu's teasing words and only smiled. Although 1,000,000 star stones wasn't a lot, he had spent 1,000,000 star stones to participate in an auction. From this point of view, it was still a bit wasteful. "Ladies and gentlemen, since everyone has been seated, we will now begin the auction." Seeing that everyone had entered, a middle-aged auctioneer took out an item and placed it in his hand. It was a black piece of wood that emitted a cold and gloomy aura. Holding the black wood in his hand, the auctioneer's expression became interesting. He said excitedly, "This is a piece of spirit wood, a rare material for cultivating one's primordial spirit and refining puppets. It would be a pity if you missed it. The starting price for this piece of spirit wood is 10,000,000 star stones. Each increment must be no less than 100,000. I bid 11 million. I bid 12 million. I bid 15 million. Just as the auctioneer finished speaking, all sorts of bidding sounds rose and fell. Under everyone's competition, the price of the item increased rapidly. When the price of the spirit wood was about to exceed 30 million star stones, an old man with a gloomy expression shouted, "A piece of rare spirit wood for only 30 million star stones is simply too low. I will directly bid 50 million star stones." Chapter 2795. It's him. I didn't expect this old fellow to come to the black space divine mountain. Recognizing the old man who had bid, Qingyun was surprised, and his expression gradually turned cold. This old man was Taoist Xiangmi, who had joined forces with Sun Jie to deal with him. Hearing Mo Qingyun's surprised words, Dingyu asked curiously, "Junior brother Mo, that old man is called Taoist Xiangmi. He is the ancestor of the Black Brilliance Evil sect with a quasi-3-star strength. Do you know him?" "I guess so," Mo Qingyun answered ambiguously. Hearing Mo Qingyun's answer, Dingyu's expression turned serious, and he said, "Junior brother Mo, if you encounter Taoist Xiangmi in a fight in the future, you must be careful of him." "Why?" Mo Qingyun was puzzled. Dingyu glanced at Taoist Xiangmi and said with a solemn expression, "Taoist Xiangmi has a habit. He likes to kill and rob while mediating a fight." "I see." After hearing Dingyu's words, Mo Qingyun nodded in understanding. Previously, when he was fighting with Sun Jie, Taoist Xiangmi had done such a thing after arriving. After talking about Taoist Xiangmi for a while, Mo Qingyun shifted his gaze and retracted his attention from him. Not long after a round of bidding, Taoist Xiangmi won the spirit wood at the price of 230 million. Seeing Taoist Xiangmi's performance, Mo Qingyun's eyes flashed with surprise, and he said, "I didn't expect this old man to be so rich." As Mo Qingyun thought of this, he had an idea, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. If the opportunity allowed, he did not mind robbing the old man. Following the auction of the spirit wood, another auction item was brought to the auction stage. It was a quasi-grade weapon that contained some time concept. I have the divine nine-bull sword in my hand. This sword does not mean much to me. Thinking of the power of the divine nine-bull sword, Mo Qingyun's interest in this sword quickly faded. Mo Qingyun was no longer interested, but that didn't mean that the others weren't interested either. I bid 30 million. I bid 35 million. I bid 38 million. Some people who use swords as weapons shouted out their bids frantically. Not long after, the price of this divine sword reached the level of 100 million. Furthermore, the price of the auction was still rapidly increasing. A moment later, after an intense struggle, the quasi-Eon-level divine sword was won by someone. Who would have thought that a quasi-eternity divine armament would actually sell for over 300 million starstones? Mo Qingyun's face was filled with shock when he saw the price of the quasi-Eon-grade divine weapon. He sighed inwardly. Compared to these people, my foundation is still too shallow. Just as Mo Qingyun was feeling emotional, the third item was brought up by the auctioneer. The third auction item was also a weapon, an Eon-grade battle axe. Mo Qingyun had no use for such a weapon, so he had no interest in it all. Next, as time passed, items were auctioned off one after another. After an unknown amount of time, an item in the shape of a flying boat was brought into the hands of the auctioneer. It's finally your turn. Seeing the time battleship being taken out, Mo Qingyun's expression turned joyful and nervous. Under Mo Qingyun's nervous gaze, the auctioneer beamed with joy as he introduced the advantages of the time battleship. Under the auctioneer's exaggeration, everyone's interest in the time battleship immediately became stronger. Auctioneer Wang, don't beat around the bush. Just state the price. That's right. Just state the price. I'm just about to change to a flying boat. I think this one is pretty good. Humph. This time battleship is mine. No one can compete with me for it. Excited voices rang out one after another. Hearing everyone's urging, the auctioneer no longer beat around the bush and said, the starting bid for the time battleship is 10,000 star crystals. Each bid must be at least 100 star crystals. 10,000 star crystals. 11,300 star crystals. 12,000 star crystals. Everyone frantically increased the price. Star crystals? Hearing the price of the time battleship, Mo Qingyun's expression changed and a look of surprise appeared on his face. He did not expect that the bidding for the time battleship would actually require star crystals. This surprised him a little. Star crystals were higher-grade cultivation crystals. The ratio of star crystals to star stones was 1 to 10,000. Sometimes, in some special occasions, the ratio would be even higher. 17,007 star crystals. Just as Mo Qingyun was feeling surprised, Taoist Mingmi, who had been silent all this while, suddenly joined the bidding. Seeing that Taoist Mingmi had spoken, Mo Qingyun did not continue watching and said in a deep voice, I bid 17,100 star crystals. As soon as Mo Qingyun's bid came out, it was quickly surpassed by someone else. Even so, Taoist Mingmi, who was in the crowd, still noticed Mo Qingyun. So it's this kid. Noticing Mo Qingyun's presence, Taoist Mingmi sneered and took a few more glances at Mo Qingyun. The meaning of his gaze could not be more obvious. Sensing Taoist Mingmi's gaze, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and a murderous intent rose in his heart. He could feel that Taoist Mingmi's gaze was mixed with a strong murderous intent. Junior brother Mo, the situation is not good. The murderous intent emitted by Taoist Mingmi did not escape Ding Yu's perception. He was so shocked that he quickly shouted, just now, I sensed a murderous intent in Taoist Mingmi's eyes. You must be careful later. All right. Mo Qingyun nodded at Ding Yu's reminder. Soon after, Mo Qingyun did not want to be outdone and joined the bidding crowd. Under the bidding of Mo Qingyun and the others, the price of the time battleship began to rise. As the price continued to rise, the number of people participating in the bidding also decreased. 100,000 star crystals. Mo Qingyun shouted and called out a new price. When they heard Mo Qingyun's price, some of the people who wanted to compete gave up. In their opinion, although the time battleship was precious, it was not worth the price. With no one competing, Mo Qingyun bought the time battleship at the price of 100,000 star crystals. I only spent 100,000 star crystals. My luck is not bad. Seeing that he had successfully obtained the time battleship, Mo Qingyun nodded with satisfaction. At the same time, he sighed and said, "But now, my pockets are empty." In a short while, the time battleship was sent up and fell into Mo Qingyun's hands. "Senior brother Ding, we have obtained the time battleship. Let's leave this place." Seeing that he had achieved his goal of coming to the auction house and that his pockets were empty, Mo Qingyun did not want to stay any longer. Hearing Mo Qingyun's thoughts, Dingyu did not persuade him and walked out with Mo Qingyun. He came to the auction house to accompany Mo Qingyun. Since Mo Qingyun wanted to leave, he would not stay. In a short while, the two of them left the auction house and walked out of the Yunli auction house. Just as Mo Qingyun was about to leave, a strong sense of danger rose in his heart. Immediately after, Mo Qingyun discovered that a thought had locked onto the two of them. Chapter 2796. Junior brother Mo, the situation is not good. Daoist Xiaomi is following us. Sensing that Daoist Xiaomi was following them, Ding Yu's expression tensed up as a strong sense of worry rose within him. He did not have the slightest confidence in facing an Eternity Realm expert, even if Mo Qingyun was by his side. In his eyes, no matter how outstanding Mo Qingyun's combat strength was, it was impossible for him to be a match for an Eternity Realm expert. Don't panic. Daoist Xiaomi is just an ordinary Eternity Realm expert. We might be able to fight him. Mo Qingyun's expression was calm and did not show the slightest hint of panic. After comforting Dingyu, he said, "Even if we are no match for him, he will have to pay a painful price if he wants to take us down. It is a price that he will not be able to bear." Dingyu's expression froze as he stared at Mo Qingyun with his eyes wide open. Obviously, he did not expect that Mo Qingyun would want to fight an Eternity Realm expert. "Let's go." After comforting Dingyu, Mo Qingyun did not stop and continued to rush forward. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Dingyu hesitated for a moment before he hurriedly followed Mo Qingyun. When he reached Mo Qingyun's side, Dingyu threw away all distracting thoughts and led the way for Mo Qingyun. He was very clear that since they had been targeted by Daoist Xiaomi, it was impossible to get rid of him. The only thing they could do now was to fight Daoist Xiaomi head-on and force him to retreat. I hope that junior brother Mo has some trump cards that can make Daoist Xiaomi wary. As Dingyu led the way for Mo Qingyun, he had an expectant expression as he thought to himself. Mo Qingyun was unaware of Dingyu's thoughts as he silently observed Daoist Xiaomi. This kid is very calm. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Daoist Xiaomi's eyes narrowed slightly as he thought to himself. Although the addition of a quasi-Eternity Realm kid has made the situation a little tricky, it will not change the final outcome. With that thought in mind, Daoist Mingmi no longer hesitated as he quickly chased after Mo Qingyun. Not long after, under the pursuit of Daoist Mingmi, he stopped Mo Qingyun and Meng Qi. "Senior, may I know what instructions you have for stopping the two of us?" Looking at Daoist Xiaomi, who was standing before him, Dingyu's expression was tense as he stared at him with a fearful look. Compared to Dingyu's nervousness, Mo Qingyun's face was calm, without the slightest hint of panic. Disregarding Dawn, who was at the Eternal Realm, there is no need for him to fear Daoist Mingmi with his current strength. Previously, he was able to escape unscathed when Daoist Mingmi and Sun Jie joined forces. Not to mention the fact that Daoist Mingmi was the only one here, and he had Dingyu's help. This has nothing to do with you. This old man is looking for him. Step aside immediately. Upon hearing Dingyu's question, Daoist Mingmi's face darkened as he reprimanded Dingyu. Under Daoist Mingmi's reprimand, Dingyu was at a loss for what to do. He could not help but look at Mo Qingyun. After taking a few glances at Mo Qingyun, Dingyu took a deep breath and made a decision. He said, "Senior, if junior brother Mo has offended you in any way, I apologize on his behalf. However, if you want to deal with him, please forgive me for not being able to sit back and do nothing." Upon seeing Ding Yu's action, Mo Qingyun narrowed his eyes and could not help but look at Ding Yu. He did not expect that Ding Yu would not back down in the face of Taoist Ming Mi's warning. From this, it could be seen that Ding Yu was a person who valued friendship. It was worth it to have a deep friendship with him. After a brief moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun's impression of Ding Yu immediately improved. "Kid, since you're courting death, this old man will fulfill your wish." Seeing that Ding Yu was unwilling to back down, Taoist Ming Mi's face darkened and he immediately grabbed at Ding Yu. Upon seeing Taoist Ming Mi's action, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a disdainful smile as he said, "Old thing, it's not your turn to behave atrociously this time. I was just worrying about where to find you. Who would have thought that you would take the initiative to jump out and save me a lot of trouble?" As soon as Mo Qingyun's words fell, he took out the divine sword of 9 bulls and thrust it at Taoist Ming Mi. Mo Qingyun thrust his sword forward, unleashing a sword beam of lightning that slashed at Taoist Ming Mi. What a powerful sword move. Taoist Ming Mi's expression trembled as he faced the incoming sword beam of lightning. A hint of surprise flashed across his eyes. Mo Qingyun's sword move was actually able to restrain him, causing him to feel his heart palpitate. After realizing this, Taoist Ming Mi did not dare to face it head-on and quickly retreated. Taoist Ming Mi is retreating? Upon seeing Taoist Ming Mi's action, Ding Yu's eyes trembled as he revealed an intense look of surprise. He did not expect that Mo Qingyun would be able to force Taoist Ming Mi to retreat with just a thrust of his sword. After realizing this, the worry in Ding Yu's heart immediately lessened by a little. After forcing Taoist Ming Mi to retreat, Mo Qingyun's expression turned solemn as he said to Ding Yu beside him, "Senior brother Ding, assist me from the side. I'm going to kill this old dog." Kill Taoist Ming Mi. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ding Yu's heart trembled as his body trembled slightly. An early-stage universe realm cultivator actually wanted to kill an early-stage eternal realm cultivator. This idea was too frightening. "Arrogant kid, this old man would like to see how capable you are." Mo Qingyun's words made Taoist Ming Mi extremely angry, causing his eyes to turn blood red. Soon after, Taoist Ming Mi no longer held back his strength and unleashed the aura of the eternal realm without holding back. Black Evil Earth Devil Claw. Taoist Ming Mi slightly bent his right hand as a black light flashed on his palm. He stretched out a claw toward Mo Qingyun. A dazzling black light poured out and instantly enveloped the surrounding 100 miles, forming a black purgatory space. Roar, 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 roar. Eerie cries rang out from the surrounding space, causing one to shudder in fear. At the same time, ghostly claws with purple flames pierced through the space and grabbed toward Mo Qingyun and Ding Yu. Seeing the ghostly claws coming toward him, Ding Yu immediately panicked and hurriedly blocked the ghostly claws. However, compared to Taoist Ming Mi, Ding Yu's strength was still much weaker. In just one exchange, he was injured by the ghostly claws and was forced to retreat continuously. Upon seeing Ding Yu's performance, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold as he shouted, "Senior brother Ding, follow me. I'll bring you out of here." Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ding Yu did not dare to think too much and immediately followed behind Mo Qingyun. With Ding Yu behind him, Mo Qingyun's aura surged as he charged toward the group of people. "Open up." Mo Qingyun held the sword with both hands and poured a violent surge of saint energy into the divine sword of 9 bulls. Soon after, a dragon-like whirlwind of sword light blasted out from the divine sword of 9 bulls. The sword light blasted out and swept toward the ghostly claws with the force of a whirlwind. Faced with the overbearing impact of the sword light, all the ghostly claws that approached were forcefully repelled. Then, a vacuum was created in front of Mo Qingyun and Ding Yu. Chapter 2797. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and appeared 10,000 meters away. Then, he slashed his sword forward again. A sword ray flashing with lightning shot out from the nine-bull divine sword and created a vacuum in front of him. After destroying the ghostly claws in front of him, Mo Qingyun did not stop and continued to flash forward. When Mo Qingyun moved forward, Dingyu did not hesitate and followed closely behind him. I didn't expect Junior Brother Mo's strength to have reached such a level. Dingyu was shocked when he saw the power of Mo Qingyun's sword. He could not help but sigh with emotion. If he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have believed that Mo Qingyun possessed such strength. He originally thought that even if Mo Qingyun was stronger than him, it would not be by much. Now it seemed that his thinking was wrong, and very wrong. The strength that Mo Qingyun possessed was on a completely different level from his. This kid's strength is actually so strong. Daoist Ming Mi's old face trembled when he saw Mo Qingyun's performance. His expression tensed up. The strength that Mo Qingyun displayed similarly made him feel very shocked. I can't let this kid break through. I have to stop him. Daoist Ming Mi panicked when his divine ability was about to be broken by Mo Qingyun. Soon after, Daoist Ming Mi no longer hesitated and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun and Dingyu. Kid, it's not that easy to break through my divine ability. When he arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and Dingyu, Daoist Ming Mi pointed his finger, causing the space to tremble. Then, a strange rune imprint formed in front of Daoist Ming Mi. When the rune imprint formed, it emitted a cold aura. Then, black figures walked out from it. The auras of these black figures were extremely strong. They had reached the quasi-eternal realm. Evil spirit phantoms kill. When he saw the black figures appear, Daoist Ming Mi shouted coldly and controlled them to attack. Soon, the three evil thoughts ghost shadows surrounded Mo Qingyun and his companion, eyeing them like hungry wolves. Junior Brother Mo, these three evil spirits are very strong. What should we do now? Looking at the three evil spirit shadows around him, Dingyu's expression was heavy, and he appeared to be panicking. Upon hearing Dingyu's words, Mo Qingyun gave him a comforting smile and said, "Senior Brother Ding, don't panic. Since Daoist Ming Mi has intervened to stop us, it means that the divine ability that has trapped us is about to be broken by us." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Dingyu's eyes lit up and the worry in his heart lessened. Mo Qingyun was right. If not for the fact that his divine ability was about to be broken, why would Daoist Ming Mi be in such a hurry to strike? Upon hearing the conversation between Mo Qingyun and Meng Qi, the nearby Daoist Ming Mi's expression immediately darkened. Mo Qingyun had actually guessed what he was thinking. This wasn't a good thing. Destroy. After comforting Dingyu, Mo Qingyun took a step forward and slashed at the evil thought's ghost shadow in front of him. The divine nine-bull sword was swung forward, and waves of mysterious power were emitted from the sword. Immediately, this power was added to the sword ray, raising its aura to the maximum. With a flash, the sword ray arrived in front of the evil thought's ghost shadow and hit it directly. Under the attack of the sword ray, the evil thought's ghost shadow immediately exploded and dissipated in midair. After destroying one evil thought's ghost shadow, Mo Qingyun's attack did not decrease, and he swept the divine nine-bull's sword to the right. A crescent-shaped sword ray blasted out, sweeping towards the other evil thought's ghost shadow. In the blink of an eye, it was in front of it. The speed of the sword ray was too fast. Before the evil thought's ghost shadow could dodge, it was hit by the sword ray. Boom! Under the attack of the sword ray, this evil thought's ghost shadow was also blasted apart. When Mo Qingyun attacked, Dingyu did not stay idle. He blocked the last evil thought's ghost shadow. Although he wasn't able to kill the evil specter with a single strike like Mo Qingyun, he was still able to force it back. Follow me closely. Seeing Dingyu's performance, Mo Qingyun did not attack to deal with the last evil thought's ghost shadow. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he slashed forward with his sword and blasted out a vacuum zone. Not only that, under Mo Qingyun's sword, a bright light appeared in front of them. It meant that the divine ability Taoist Mengmi had unleashed was completely destroyed by Mo Qingyun. His superpower has been broken. Let's get out of here immediately. Seeing the light spot in front of them, Mo Qingyun's figure moved and rushed towards the light spot at an extremely fast speed. Hearing Mo Qingyun's reminder, Dingyu ignored the evil thoughts Ghost Shadow and also flew towards the light spot. Mo Qingyun and Dingyu's figures flashed a few times and rushed out of the light spot, coming out of Daoist Fan Mi's superpower. They actually broke through it. Seeing Mo Qingyun and Dingyu's appearance, Daoist Fan Mi's old face trembled and a hint of panic flashed across his eyes. He couldn't believe that Mo Qingyun and Mo Qingyun were able to break out of his divine ability so quickly. Old man, what other skills do you have? Just use them. Mo Qingyun smiled contemptuously as he stared at Daoist Xiaomi before him. He teased him and said, "If you run out of tricks, I won't hold back anymore." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he did not wait for Daoist Fan Mi to reply and launched his counterattack. With a flick of the nine-bull divine sword in his hand, Mo Qingyun turned into a stream of light and pierced towards Daoist Fan Mi, defense ignoring. Space compression. Time passing like light. The moment Mo Qingyun made his move, he did not give any face and directly displayed several kinds of laws. With the support of several types of laws, the power of his sword was instantly raised to the extreme. What a fast speed! Seeing Mo Qingyun's attack, Dingyu's expression trembled, and he said in surprise, "I didn't expect that junior brother Mo did not use his full strength in Daoist Fan Mi's superpower." This discovery not only shocked Dingyu, but also dealt him a blow. It turned out that the gap between him and Mo Qingyun had reached such a stage. Seeing Mo Qingyun's attack, Daoist Fan Mi's thoughts were no different from Dingyu's. This kid hid his strength really well. I can't believe he still held back. While Daoist Fan Mi was amazed, he did not hesitate and immediately blocked the incoming sword light. Daoist Fan Mi waved his palms, and a saint energy in the form of a black mist burst out from his body. The black saint energy quickly gathered and turned into a black snake that was thousands of feet long. It violently pounced on Mo Qingyun. Facing the black snake's attack, Mo Qingyun did not retreat at all. It was as if the black snake did not exist. "Kid, you're courting death." Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Daoist Fan Mi sneered as if victory was already in his hands. Then, under the two's gaze, Mo Qingyun was swallowed by the black snake. Seeing this, Dingyu's expression trembled and he nervously clenched his fists. If Mo Qingyun was killed, he would be in a bad situation and would most likely die. Chapter 2798. With a flash of starlight, a crack appeared on the abdomen of the black snake rapidly. The black snake's abdomen was split open and a figure passed through it, thrusting a long sword at Daoist Mengmi. Junior brother Mo is so powerful. Seeing Mo Qingyun pierce through the demon snake's abdomen, Dingyu's eyes widened in shock. Under Dingyu's shocked gaze, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and appeared in front of Daoist Mengmi. Oh no. Mo Qingyun's powerful approach scared Daoist Mengmi so much that his face trembled and his body trembled. The strength that Mo Qingyun displayed was beyond his control. I can only take it head on. Looking at Mo Qingyun, who was right in front of him, Daoist Mengmi's face tensed up and he unconsciously clenched his teeth. Immediately, Daoist Mengmi raised his hand and took out a black dagger. The dagger glowed with a dark light and was surrounded by black gas, like a cold, venomous snake. With the dagger in hand, Daoist Mengmi did not hesitate and immediately slashed at Mo Qingyun. Clang! The dagger and sword collided, producing a piercing sound and producing a terrifying force. When this force erupted, it enveloped Mo Qingyun and Dingyu and attacked them. However, Mo Qingyun and the other man chose to turn a blind eye to the impact of this force. Dying After blocking Taoist Ming Mi's dagger, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold, and he poured a surge of saint energy into the divine sword of 9 bulls. As the saint energy poured in, the divine sword of 9 bulls immediately emitted a cold light, and a sharp sword ray burst out. Oh no! Seeing the sword ray coming at him, Taoist Ming Mi's face twitched and his eyes widened. Unfortunately, before he could dodge, the sword ray had already swept past him. Boom! Under the attack of the sword ray, Taoist Ming Mi was sent flying, and a hideous wound appeared on his chest. After being hit by the overbearing sword ray, the aura that Taoist Ming Mi emitted immediately weakened. Ew. Cough, cough. Taoist Ming Mi steadied himself. With a gloomy face, he stared at Mo Qingyun with a wary look. If he hadn't experienced it himself, he wouldn't have believed that he could be injured by a space realm cultivator. Junior brother, Mo severely injured Taoist Tanmi. Seeing this scene, Dingyu was so shocked that his jaw dropped. He couldn't believe that this was real. While Dingyu was still in shock, he suddenly recalled Mo Qingyun's words. Soon after, Dingyu was stunned on the spot as he muttered to himself. Could it be that junior brother Mo was not lying earlier? He really wants to kill Taoist Xiaomi? The more Dingyu thought about it, the more frightened and shocked he became. To him, this kind of thing was beyond common sense. Hiss! Dingyu couldn't help but gasp. If Mo Qingyun could really do it, then he would be too terrifying. After severely injuring Taoist Ming Mi with a single sword strike, Mo Qingyun's attack did not slow down. With a flash of his figure, he gave chase. Ignore defense, eternity, space imprisonment. Arriving in front of Taoist Ming Mi, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate at all as he slashed at him with his sword. A vicissitude concept was emitted from Mo Qingyun's body and was added to the sword light. Soon after, the aura emitted by the sword light became much sharper. This kid's comprehension of the concept of time has actually reached such a level. It's too strange. Sensing the concept on Mo Qingyun's body, Taoist Ming Mi's old face trembled. His eyes widened as he said in shock, "With my strength alone, I'm afraid I can't match him. I have to leave this place as soon as possible." With this thought, Taoist Ming Mi lost his will to continue fighting. He only wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. Evil thoughts, spectral space escape, time acceleration. With a thought, Taoist Ming Mi broke free from the concept of time and fled 10,000 meters away. Soon after, Mo Qingyun slashed at him with his sword, and he narrowly avoided it. Seeing Taoist Ming Mi's escape, Mo Qingyun narrowed his eyes and hesitated. To pursue or not to pursue? If he pursued, he would have to expose the gate of time. He might even have to summon the Dark Star. In that case, he would have to expose a trump card and lose someone he could rely on. He's just a clown. I'll spare him for now. After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun finally gave up on pursuing Taoist Ming Mi. In his opinion, there were many opportunities to deal with Taoist Ming Mi. There was no need to rush. Exposing his trump card in order to deal with him was not worth it. After deciding not to pursue Taoist Ming Mi, Mo Qingyun turned around and flew toward Dingyu, preparing to leave this place with him. Taoist Ming Mi has been repelled. Although Taoist Ming Mi was not killed, Dingyu was still shocked when he saw him being repelled. To him, Mo Qingyun's battle record was extremely terrifying. "Senior brother Ding, let's go." Mo Qingyun came to Dingyu's side and nodded at him. After hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Dingyu nodded and led the way. After the battle, just now, Dingyu's attitude toward Mo Qingyun had obviously become more respectful. In his eyes, Mo Qingyun was no different from an ordinary long dragon. Seeing Dingyu's expression, Mo Qingyun guessed what he was thinking, but he didn't say anything. About 2 hours later, under Dingyu's lead, the two of them stopped in front of a manor. If he was not mistaken, this was the place where the Star Domain Tea Party would be held. Seeing Dingyu's arrival, someone immediately came forward to welcome him. "Brother Dingyu, you're late this time. You'll have to drink 3 times the amount as punishment later." A few people who were familiar with Dingyu quickly walked in front of him and joked with him. Ding Yu nodded humbly at everyone's jokes. After everyone exchanged pleasantries with Ding Yu, one of them looked curiously at Mo Qingyun and asked, "Brother Ding Yu, this young man is—" "This is my junior brother. He was passing by on the way, so I brought him here to join in the fun." Upon hearing the former's question, Ding Yu gave a simple answer and introduced Mo Qingyun's identity. After learning about Mo Qingyun's identity from Ding Yu, everyone exchanged a few pleasantries. Then, everyone's attention returned to Ding Yu. In their opinion, with Mo Qingyun's mid-stage universe realm cultivation, he should have followed them to broaden his horizons. Mo Qingyun did not care about everyone's attitude and followed behind them casually. After a while, Mo Qingyun came to a courtyard under everyone's lead. At this moment, the courtyard was filled with guests who were gathered in groups of 3 and 5. "Ding Yu, you're in such a sorry state. Could it be that you're being chased here to avoid disaster?" As soon as Ding Yu entered the courtyard, a young man holding a jade cup in his hand mocked Ding Yu and said, "If you bring trouble to everyone because of this, have you thought about the consequences?" Hearing this person's words, everyone in the courtyard focused their attention on Ding Yu. Some of them even had some hostility in their eyes. It was obvious that they believed what Ding Yu said. After listening to Ding Yu's introduction, Mo Qingyun sized them up and sensed their cultivation bases. These 3 are actually all at the Eternal Realm. After sensing their cultivation bases, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly, and a trace of surprise flashed through his eyes. Immediately, Mo Qingyun raised his guard against these 3 people. With his current strength, he could easily deal with an Eternal Realm powerhouse if he encountered one. Even if he faced 2 Eternal Realm powerhouses, he could still barely contend with 1 or 2 of them. However, it would be very difficult to fight against 3 of them. "Thank you all for giving me the honor of attending this tea party." Helian Linsu swept a glance over the crowd and revealed a gentle smile. She bowed politely to everyone and said, "Since everyone is here, let the tea party begin." At Helian Linsu's command, all sorts of exquisite tea and pastries were served. "Junior apprentice brother Mo, these teas are extremely rare. Come and try this." Seeing all kinds of tea being served, Ding Yu called out to Mo Qingyun and poured a cup for Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun didn't stand on ceremony and casually took the tea from Ding Yu. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun took the teacup and was about to taste it, a person walked up to him and shouted with a dark expression, "Kid, this cup of Black Sky Iron Buddha tea isn't something you are qualified to drink. Immediately put the tea on the table and get out of here obediently." Ding Yu's face darkened when he heard this, and he looked at San Huai. In his opinion, this person must have been incited by San Huai to find trouble with Mo Qingyun. After shooting a cold glance at San Huai, Ding Yu glared at the person in front of him and shouted, "Zhou Bai, I advise you not to cause trouble. This won't do you any good." Zhou Bai wasn't afraid of Ding Yu's warning at all. He sneered and said, "Ding Yu, it's fine if you use the Star Domain Tea Party to avoid being hunted down. However, you even brought someone here to eat and drink. This is a little unreasonable." Ding Yu was furious when he saw Zhou Bai's actions. However, when Ding Yu was about to attack, Mo Qingyun stopped him. When Mo Qingyun stopped him, Ding Yu took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. After Mo Qingyun stopped Ding Yu, he looked at Zhou Bai and smiled faintly. "Tell me, what do I have to do to be qualified to drink the tea?" Zhou Bai was stunned when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He didn't expect Mo Qingyun to say this. Zhou Bai was slightly stunned. He raised his head arrogantly and said, "Don't say that I'm deliberately making things difficult for you. I'm the weakest among the participants of the tea party. If you can defeat me, it means that you're qualified to participate." "Defeat you?" Hearing Zhou Bai's words, Mo Qingyun knew what he was thinking. After beating around the bush for so long, Zhou Bai just wanted to fight with him and use the opportunity to teach him a lesson. "What? You don't dare?" Zhou Bai smiled coldly when he saw Mo Qingyun's reaction. If you don't dare, then leave the courtyard obediently and wait patiently outside. No, it's not that I don't dare. It's just that it's too easy. Mo Qingyun shook his head and corrected Zhou Bai's words. I won't bully you. You make the first move. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he ignored Zhou Bo and picked up his teacup leisurely. Zhou Bai's face darkened when he saw Mo Qingyun's actions. He felt a great sense of humiliation. At this moment, he couldn't help but feel that he was a clown in front of Mo Qingyun. You're courting death, kid. In his rage, Zhou Bai shouted angrily and sent a palm strike towards Mo Qingyun. Zhou Bai's attack exploded with a terrifying aura and a huge palm shadow blasted out. At the same time, a mysterious space law enveloped Mo Qingyun. Everyone's expression tensed up when they saw Zhou Bai's attack. They all stared at Mo Qingyun. They wanted to know how Mo Qingyun would deal with Zhou Bai's attack. Chapter 2800. Scram. Mo Qingyun did not move an inch in the face of Zhou Bai's attack. He raised his right hand casually. Placing two fingers together, he used his fingers as a sword and waved them forward. As Mo Qingyun swung his fingers, his saint energy turned into a sword radiance and shot toward the palm. Puff! Under the attack of the sword radiance, the palm dissipated and turned back into a ball of saint energy. The sword radiance did not lose any of its power and shot toward Zhou Bai, who was behind the palm. What a powerful finger! Zhou Bai trembled when he sensed the sword radiance's aura. His face was filled with shock. Immediately after, fear rose in his heart as he dodged the bombardment of the sword beams. However, as Zhou Bai retreated, two powerful nomological powers enveloped his body. Spatial imprisonment, spatial compression. Zhou Bai was even more shocked when he sensed the law energies that enveloped him. At this moment, the distance between him and the sword gleam was rapidly shortened. Then, the sword slammed into Zhou Bai's body, exploding with a terrifying force. Boom! A loud explosion was heard, and the crowd saw Zhou Bai being sent flying by the explosion. Zhou Bai fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was pale and his eyes were wide open. How could he defeat me with just one move when he's only at the intermediate stage of a universe realm? Looking at Mo Qingyun in front of him, Zhou Bo's face was filled with disbelief. He could not believe that this was real. The crowd was also shocked when they saw Zhou Bai being sent flying with just one move. One move. Zhou Bai was sent flying with just one move? I can't believe this kid is so powerful. Even if Zhou Bai underestimated his opponent, this kid's strength is not to be underestimated. If I'm not mistaken, his true combat strength should be comparable to the peak of a universe realm. This kid is not simple. I'm afraid he's even more powerful than Dingyu. The crowd looked at Mo Qingyun in a different light. At this moment, Mo Qingyun was on the same level as them. Mo Qingyun ignored the crowd's reaction. He took another sip of tea and smiled. Let me ask you now, am I qualified to taste this tea? Mo Qingyun slowly put down his teacup and looked at Zhou Bai coldly. Looking at Mo Qingyun's posture, if Zhou Bai dared to say no, he would attack Zhou Bai again. Yes, yes. Under the pressure of Mo Qingyun's aura, Zhou Bo's face alternated between green and white as he stuttered his reply. As soon as Zhou Bo finished speaking, he touched his forehead and wiped off the sweat on it. Even with Zhou Bai's strength, he was defeated in one move. Seeing that Zhou Bai had been defeated, San Huai's face was as black as ink, and he was extremely displeased. He had to admit that he had miscalculated. Zhou Bai had failed. Not only did Zhou Bai fail to teach Zhou Bai, but he had also given Mo the opportunity to establish his authority. Although Sun Huai wasn't one of the best among them, the fact that Mo Qingyun could make him suffer showed that he wasn't ordinary. After saying a few words to Sun Huai, Dingyu did not say anything more. He turned to look at Mo Qingyun and said, "Junior brother Mo, you're still the best. You stunned Sun Huai with just a few words. He's just a clown. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and did not explain too much. During the conversation with Ding Yu, Mo Qingyun's eyes turned and a plan formed in his mind. Then, he looked at Sun Huai with a meaningful gaze. Following Sun Huai's decision to retreat, his conflict with Mo Qingyun was temporarily put aside. Then, everyone's attention shifted from Mo Qingyun. Next, some people who were on good terms with each other or had grudges against each other began to spar and compare notes. During this process, no one challenged Mo Qingyun. Perhaps they were worried about Mo Qingyun's words. During this time, Ding Yu fought a few times, winning and losing. After an unknown period of time, a young man in a red shirt holding a sword walked in front of Mo Qingyun and said, "Junior brother, I'm Japan of the Star Ghost Sword Sect. I would like to exchange a few moves with you. I hope you can come out and teach me a thing or two." Sure. Mo Qingyun did not reject the other party's challenge and agreed readily. Just as Sun Huai's heart was filled with anticipation, Hellion Lin Su stood up and said, "Both of you, please stop. If you continue fighting, it won't be good for either of you. Let's just consider this a draw." As soon as Hellion Lin Su said this, she raised her jade-like arm and released a mysterious nomological law. Under the power of this nomological law, Mo Qingyun and Japin's attacks were clearly much slower. After slowing down Mo Qingyun and Japin's attacks, Hellion Lin Su didn't stop. She waved her hand at Mo Qingyun and Japin. Then, she easily neutralized the attacks of Mo Qingyun and Japin's. When they saw Hellion Lin Su's actions, everyone looked at her with even more reverence. She had neutralized Mo Qingyun and Japin's attacks with a casual wave of her hand. This method was too frightening. Thank you for your guidance. Let's fight again next time. After Hellion Lin Su made her move, she stopped fighting with Mo Qingyun, and Japin humbly cupped his hands. Mo Qingyun also nodded politely at Japin's actions. After replying to Japin, Mo Qingyun looked at Hellion Lin Su and frowned slightly. He thought to himself, "This woman's strength is much stronger than Taoist Meng Mi's. I'm afraid Zhua Gongsheng and Zhua Gongsheng's strength is not much weaker." After estimating the strength of the three people, Mo Qingyun's heart sank. He was even more afraid of the three of them. Mo Qingyun's words made Sun Huai very unhappy, so he chided him coldly. After Sun Huai finished speaking, he no longer hesitated and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Sun Luo Dark Alley. Sun Huai's hands bent into claws. Black chi surrounded his palms as Saint energy surged out. Sun Huai leaped up and waved his palms at Mo Qingyun, creating 4 eerie claw shadows. The claw shadows flashed and intertwined with each other, surrounding Mo Qingyun and forming a gloomy alley. Chi chi chi. Once Mo Qingyun was surrounded, eerie sounds came from all around Mo Qingyun. Then, all kinds of undead creatures appeared around Mo Qingyun. There were flowers and plants full of poisonous thorns, willow trees with snake heads, and ghosts bearing their fangs and brandishing their claws. For a moment, all kinds of attacks from the sky and the ground enveloped Mo Qingyun. Sun Huai's superpower is stronger than before. Can junior brother Mo block it? Seeing Sun Huai's performance, Ding Yu looked nervous and worried. He said, "Sun Huai's current strength is already at the limit of the universe realm. There is no one in the universe realm who can match him." Sword energy rise. Facing the attacks from all sides, Mo Qingyun did not let his guard down and immediately activated his sword energy. One by one, sharp sword energy formed and blasted at the surrounding undead creatures, blocking their attacks. After activating his sword energy to block the attacks from all sides, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately took out the Nine Oxen Divine Sword. Slash. With the Nine Oxen Divine Sword in hand, Mo Qingyun slashed forward and blasted out a silver dragon-shaped lightning sword light. The lightning sword light blasted out, exuding a terrifying pressure and bombarding the undead creatures in front of it. Boom, boom, boom. Wherever the lightning sword light passed, the surrounding undead creatures were all blasted away by the lightning arcs. In the blink of an eye, the area in front of Mo Qingyun became a vacuum. After blasting open a gap in Sun Luo's dark alley, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and broke out of the encirclement. Seeing this, Sun Huai's expression trembled and a strong sense of uneasiness arose. He hid his true strength in the fight just now. Sun Huai's mind spun and immediately thought of a possibility. He knew the reason for this situation. Knowing that Mo Qingyun had hidden his strength, Sun Huai's face turned pale and he trembled. With the strength Mo Qingyun had just displayed, it would not be too difficult for him to deal with Mo Qingyun. However, Mo Qingyun had hidden his strength, so the situation was completely different. He could no longer figure out Mo Qingyun's depth and could not see through Mo Qingyun's true strength. The unknown was a terrifying thing, and Sun Huai was facing such a situation now. Passage of time, spatial compression, spatial imprisonment.